From a nameless orphan to the world's most terrifying martial arts prodigy, mastering sword intent before age 20, his single strike shatters mountains and rivers. A strange assassin who prefers front-door challenges over cowardly shadow kills. Winning meant heads, losing meant death, even defeating the legendary Sword King. Even demonic masters leading thousand-man corpse armies fall before his overwhelming blade. Our story follows 𝒔𝒂𝒔𝒔, kidnapped as a child and forged through brutal, hellish training. Years of cold-blooded slaughter turned the boy into a living weapon of destruction. Now known as number 2044, the demonic cult's most lethal shadow. Returning from a mission, 3 jealous assassins try to ambush our main character. They hated his meteoric rise, unable to accept a newcomer surpassing their ranks. But the top assassin is no joke, crushing them with basic martial arts. He spares them only as colleagues, avoiding a trip to the afterlife for now. Soon, the heavenly wolf leader summons 𝒔𝒂𝒔, regarding the ancient blood cult's return. After 80 years, the cult is mass-producing undead corpses for a bloody war. 𝒔𝒂𝒔's squad must infiltrate and locate their hidden lair before chaos erupts. Under the moonlight, the team moves. The brave Rian leads the elite group, alongside teammates Hoen Shu, Ma Shich, and the long-haired swordsman Jin Chun. Deep in the forest, Rian screams a warning as Jin Chun is targeted. Bloodthirsty corpses burst from the soil, claws reaching for living flesh and bone. Jin Chun barely parries, but 𝒔𝒂𝒔 instantly strikes from the shadows to save him. These are just perimeter guards. They must be silenced quickly to stay hidden. Steel clashes against wrought, unaware they are being watched by a sinister shadow. An underling reports the western barrier breach to the cold vice cult leader. He orders the release of their newest, most twisted undead sorcery upon them. The battlefield turns hellish as tireless corpses press against the exhausted human squad. While the team falters, Ma Shich realizes 𝒔𝒂𝒔 is on a different level. Not a single drop of sweat falls as 𝒔𝒂𝒔 carves through the undead. Suddenly, a red-haired woman with serpent eyes descends from the dark canopy. She summons the blood cult's latest nightmare. Evolved, high-level martial artist corpses. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 freezes, recognizing a zombie he had personally assassinated in the past. The cult is recycling legendary warriors' corpses into unstoppable, mindless killing machines. Sensing time is short, 𝒔𝒂𝒔 decides to hunt the main base alone. He leaves his shocked teammates behind, vanishing into the dense, dark thicket. Deep within the woods, he discovers a cave reeking of death and rot. This is the heart of the blood cult, a factory for their undead legion. But as he prepares to signal, a deadly toxin paralyzes his divine body. The vice leader emerges, intending to turn 𝒔𝒂𝒔 into his ultimate undead masterpiece. Meanwhile, his teammates narrowly escape the swarm and track 𝒔𝒂𝒔 to the cave. They find him battered and bloody, his clothes shredded by relentless, poisoned claws. Even a god-tier warrior has limits when faced with endless, unfeeling monster hordes. In the brink of death, 𝒔𝒂𝒔 recalls his quest for the ultimate sword. To manifest sword aura from nothingness, he pushes his limits beyond human boundaries. The true master cuts through fate itself, he whispers as his aura explodes. "I'll show you true despair," he declares, terrifying the once confident vice leader. Awakening a legendary new sword art, he begins a dance of absolute destruction. One strike, one kill. Within 5 steps, his sword chi shredded anyone who dared approach. The vice leader trembled in terror. Was this monster even human? Quickly, the undead horde was completely decimated. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 stood alone before blinking behind the enemy. A lethal strike was launched, but the vice leader, a master himself, barely evaded death. His mask shattered as he fled, vowing to remember 𝒔𝒂𝒔's name. "Survive until we meet again," he hissed. Soon, 𝒔𝒂𝒔's allies arrived to find a landscape of slaughtered zombies. They couldn't believe a single man had caused this. Absolute carnage. Just how deep did 𝒔𝒂𝒔's true power go? Thanks to his warning, 70,000 Imperial troops crushed the rebellion. Our hero was hailed as a legend. Sent back to the demonic cult to heal, the great leader rewarded his loyalty, promising to forge him into a supreme master. Days later, a legendary mentor arrived. The Death Circle's sword, 𝒊𝒏 himself. He told 𝒔𝒂𝒔 to rest, but the boy showed up, ready to bleed. He was obsessed with reaching the next level immediately. 𝒊𝒏 roared in anger. "Do you value your life so little, you foolish brat? Only an arrogant fool rushes toward his grave." The master's words stung like fire. Qiang remained silent, for the master spoke the truth. Then 𝒂𝒏𝒄 gripped his hilt. Terrifying dark energy erupted. With one swing at a massive waterfall, the earth groaned. The landscape was instantly erased. Rocks turned to dust in an explosion of power. 𝒂𝒏𝒄 sheathed his blade. "I'll teach you everything. Let's see your true potential." Respectfully, Qiang bowed. "This disciple accepts your divine guidance, great senior." Peace vanished from the peaks. Mountains cracked and stone rain fell during their training. After the duel, 𝒂𝒏𝒄 smiled. "Legend says when sword and soul become one, even a dry twig can shatter a mountain. But that is just a myth." Raising his cursed blade, he continued. "Anyone can mimic sword chi with enough energy. But the strain is immense. There is a heaven-wide gap between imitation and mastery." Qiang's hand throbbed. He realized the terrifying gap between them was still vast. What is the true essence of the sword? A decade passed in a heartbeat. 10 years of isolation. Yet, the final secret of the sword remained out of reach. As he meditated, a familiar presence appeared behind him. "Lost in thought, are we?" Qiang didn't need to look. "Greetings, Senior 𝒂𝒏𝒄." The old master was stunned. By the boy's rapid evolution! He's a bit slow, yet he's already reached this realm? "How do you feel?" Qiang sighed. "I'm still wandering in the final darkness." 𝒂𝒏𝒄 nodded. "Do not rush the flow. Wasted energy is a poisoned gift. Patience will open the path. Perhaps it is my old age talking, but I see my younger self in you. I am already over 70 years old." Qiang gasped in disbelief. "What? You're 70? 𝒂𝒏𝒄 just laughed at his shock. "And you? How old are you now?" Qiang replied softly. 29, master." 𝒂𝒏𝒄 teased him. "You look far younger. Are you using some forbidden youth technique?" Stretching his stiff limbs, he added, "Internal energy preserves the shell, but time always wins. Be careful with those techniques. They make the soul fragile as you age." Qiang smiled, bowing his head. "I will engrave your wisdom in my heart." Then came the bombshell. "You'll need 30 more years here before leaving this mountain." 30 years? Qiang's spirit nearly broke. He thought it was a cruel joke, but a year later, his body hummed with monstrous power. He was evolving daily. "Whatever happened to the blood cult?" he asked. 𝒂𝒏𝒄 shrugged. "Who knows?" A year passed. Qiang refined his zither skills before asking about the dark cult. 𝒂𝒏𝒄 knew nothing. He asked how many years they'd been mountain prisoners. Years later, Qiang wondered if the Sword Association leader still breathed. 𝒂𝒏𝒄 was cold, probably dead and buried by now. Seasons cycled. Qiang's training felt like an endless, grueling ascent. An infinite, treacherous tower. Lost in the abyss, reaching the peak seemed impossible. While many surrendered to despair, Qiang's iron will finally bore fruit. A suffocating pressure erupted from his blade. He drew his steel with lethal intent. One strike split the earth asunder. Dust and debris choked the very sky. 𝒂𝒏𝒄 stood paralyzed. "Is this the legendary true sword force? Congratulations, you are the strongest. I've finally witnessed the ultimate sword." Qiang remained somber, staring at his blade. 𝒂𝒏𝒄 sensed his unease. "I've reached this realm, yet a void remains within my power." He hungered for a deeper abyss of strength. 𝒂𝒏𝒄's expression turned grave. "Do you seek the 9 calamities realm?" Qiang nodded with resolve. "That is the peak beyond transcendence." 𝒂𝒏𝒄 shared a forbidden secret. It mirrors the demon conquest realm within the dark demonic cult. No cultist has ever achieved it. I've searched for answers for years. Seek the Northern Sea divine art, the forbidden collection of the 8 seas. Mastering its heart law lets you devour nature's chi to evolve your core. Study the ancient scripts of the North. It is your key to enlightenment. Qiang was stunned by the complexity. "I must learn foreign scripts too?" 𝒂𝒏𝒄 looked at the heavens. "It is time to descend the mountain." Qiang bowed in obedience. 𝒂𝒏𝒄 urged him to move immediately. "Now? This instant?" Qiang gasped as a lone carriage approached. He signaled the elderly driver. "Sir, is there room for one more?" "If you don't mind sharing." Qiang hopped in, thanking his luck. Inside sat an old man and a girl. They asked where he was headed. "To the heaven's first tower." The old man let out a hearty laugh. "A fresh martial artist entering the world? You remind me of my youth. We travel the same path." Qiang bowed, honoring the senior's kindness. "Are you wed, young man?" Qiang forced a polite, awkward smile. My path of internal cultivation forbids such distractions. A total lie, of course. The old man gasped. Mind arts? Those are impossible for most to master. The curious girl chimed in. Are mind arts truly that powerful, Grandpa? They grant immense power, but their fatal flaws break most who try. Her eyes sparkled with wonder. What flaws? Tell me more. Quiet. I'm speaking to the hero, he snapped. She fell into curious silence. Arriving at the capital, she marveled at the city. Grandpa, look at that. They reached a tavern. The old man smiled. Do you drink, lad? My treat. Eat your fill. 𝒔𝒂𝒔𝒂𝒏 bowed, grateful for the meal. A violent crash shattered the peace. A brawl erupted at a nearby table. This is our territory. Only the strong have the right to eat here. The old man sighed. Arrogant orthodox fools. The world is truly decaying. �𝒂𝒔𝒂𝒏 frowned. Should we not intervene? Do you not know martial arts? He knew the truth but lied to save face, boasting of an easy victory over them. Yet those 5 figures behind were the lethal 5 heroes of Mount Wu, true masters. A daunting challenge indeed. After deep silence, �𝒂𝒔𝒂𝒏 rose, his eyes gleaming with resolve. Atop the peak, Liu Bai stood alone, gazing skyward as if watching a soaring eagle. The training scorched this earth. Now, a tiger returns to the world. May he spare the weak. Inside the tavern, �𝒂𝒔𝒂𝒏 entered like a predator, stalking toward the arrogant thugs waiting there. Entering the room, the old man and the girl froze in absolute terror at the carnage. Destruction everywhere. The old man laughed, marveling at such overwhelming, monstrous strength in one youth. The girl gasped in disbelief. While inspecting the wreckage, the old man discovered a shocking detail. Look at this precise cut. A single strike severed solid alloy like it was mere butter, downed by sheer Jiangqi energy. They perished instantly. I truly underestimated that young monster's potential. This is the peak of the fire realm. I only pray a rain of blood does not follow. After punishing the arrogant, �𝒂𝒔𝒂𝒏 ventured deeper, finally reaching the heart of the main headquarters. Presenting his appointment papers, the high official reviewed them briefly before granting him entry inside. Lord Fang awaited him. To the Lord's inquiry, �𝒂𝒔𝒂𝒏 revealed his true identity as an assassin. A first-class assassin of the Black Moon. Lord Fang recoiled, recognizing the cult's most elite killing squad. A top-tier killer. Yet �𝒂𝒔𝒂𝒏 spoke humbly, claiming to be a mere nameless shadow among men. Lord Fang stood abruptly and bowed, honoring the terrifying reputation that followed the Black Moon's elite members. Forgive my ignorance. Flustered, �𝒂𝒔𝒂𝒏 insisted he was simply a regular man seeking a quiet path. Please, treat me as an ordinary subordinate. Lord Fang then asked if his presence required absolute secrecy. Use the alias Lu Huang. I must move unnoticed, ensuring no one suspects my true lethal identity. He needed to act in the shadows. Then, he inquired about the number of masters stationed here. 1,000 guards stand watch, while 100 elite agents are deployed for our most vital missions. Legality matters little here, but the darker tasks require overwhelming martial prowess to ensure total success. Can my family know? My children are quite arrogant. I fear they might disrespect your hidden power. �𝒂𝒔𝒂𝒏 stood tall, warning that fewer witnesses meant better safety for everyone involved in this plan. Tell them not to tail me. After �𝒂𝒔𝒂𝒏 vanished, Lord Fang finally let out a heavy breath. He is no mere martial artist, but a supreme killer. Seeing his lord's distress, a subordinate cautiously approached. Are you all right, sir? Lord Fang sighed, asking for his take. The subordinate recalled a terrifying rumor. Rumors speak of a swordsman who annihilated every master in the martial hall. Could he be that monster? Unbelievable. Suddenly, a furious scream erupted from the town below, shattering the peace of the afternoon air. You dare steal again? A brutal slap sent the young girl crashing violently into the hard, dusty ground. Didn't you learn your lesson? Today, you will regret ever crossing my path, you filthy little street rat. He raised a massive fist to strike, but suddenly, �𝒂𝒔𝒂𝒏 appeared, intercepting the blow with ease. He gripped the man's wrist like a vice. The brute glared back, his eyes filled with murderous intent. Isn't this excessive for a mere child? The man yanked his arm back, scoffing at �𝒂𝒔𝒂𝒏's interference. She is a thief who won't work. Hearing this, �𝒂𝒔𝒂𝒏 calmly produced a heavy pouch of gold coins. Stop. I will cover her debt. The man snatched the gold greedily, barking one final, hateful warning. So-en looked up with tearful eyes. Once the brute left, Mu-kyang knelt to dust off her clothes. "Are you hurt?" She nodded softly. Mu-kyang then asked why a child like her resorted to theft. "My mother is bedridden and sick. No one will hire me because I am far too small and weak." Moved by her tragic plight, Mu-kyang stood up. "Take me to your home at once," he commanded. So-en was bewildered. Mu-kyang smiled faintly. "If you want work, I must first ask your mother's permission." She led him to a crumbling shack isolated in the wasteland. "We are here, sir," she whispered softly. "Mother?" Mu-kyang stepped inside and froze in shock. "Mom is hurting very badly," So-en cried out sadly. Her life was fading fast. Mu-kyang hoisted the mother onto his back, racing toward the clinic. The doctor stabilized her. Upon waking, the mother wept, showering her savior with endless, heartfelt gratitude. "How can I ever repay such kindness?" she sobbed. He smiled gently. "Do not worry about that. Bring your daughter and live at my estate instead." Both were stunned by this life-changing, miraculous offer. "Is this real?" Patting the girl's head, he joked that living alone was becoming far too dull. "Let Mom rest. Let's play." Little So-en asked curiously, "Mister, are you a legendary martial arts master?" Mimicking a strike, she chirped. "You were so fast. I've seen warriors in town fly through the sky. Can you fly too?" he asked. "I cannot," he lied. The innocent girl believed his every word. "You seem kind of weak," she teased. He laughed. "Exactly. That's why I live in this shack. Do you truly want to learn?" Her eyes blazed with excitement. Seeing her passion, Mu-kyang chuckled. "Fine. I will teach you the Tai-He Heart Law. Master this, and you will become invincible." With a radiant smile, she vowed to train hard together. Mu-kyang could only offer a forced grin. "Never reveal this technique to anyone," he warned. Meanwhile, a dark shadow moved across the mountain peaks. An elite convoy marched through the pass, unaware that bloodthirsty predators were watching from the jagged rocks. "They've arrived, boss!" The bandit leader's grin widened. It was time for a brutal, lucrative slaughter. "Prepare for battle. We strike gold today." Thick black smoke soon choked the mountain's heavy, dying air. A one-sided massacre unfolded. The noble sect disciples were being utterly crushed by the ruthless bandit horde. "Do you know who we are?" the elder cried. The leader laughed. "I only smell your money. The great sect will hunt you down." Furious, the elder warned of the coming, devastating holy retribution. Closing the distance instantly, the leader sneered, "If I feared fate, I wouldn't be a bandit king." With a cold flash of steel, he claimed another soul. "Clean this mess up. Leave no survivors." Terrified survivors scrambled through the brush, desperate to escape the shadow of certain, impending death. "Run! Hunt them down!" the leader roared. Deep in the woods, Mu-kyang remained in silent, focused cultivation. An official burst in, panting heavily. "We are in trouble. The military treasury has been hijacked." Those funds were vital. Even 5 elite masters couldn't stop those mountain devils from the peak. Mu-kyang's eyes sharpened with cold intent. Who is responsible for such a bold, brazen crime? The official trembled. "Only one group is that suicidal. The butchers of the Daesun Mountains." Gripping his blade, a terrifying aura erupted. "Stay here. I will erase them from this world. 200 killers and elite warriors await. Can you truly face such overwhelming odds alone, boy?" "It won't take long," he replied coldly. Soon, a deathly silence fell over the bandits' hidden fortress. Suddenly, agonizing screams shattered the night. The bandits realized too late. The ultimate reaper had finally arrived. A silver flash danced through the dark. In seconds, a dozen bandits were reduced to cold corpses. The camp transformed into a scarlet sea. Midst the carnage, Mu-kyang stood like a vengeful god. A massive bandit froze in absolute horror. "What kind of monster? What is happening to us? Run for your lives! Move!" he screamed. But Mu-kyang was already closing in like a shadow. "Where is the stolen gold?" Mu-kyang demanded. The bandit spat. "We already sold it, you fool." A blade whistled, carving a jagged line across his face. Pure, paralyzing terror gripped the bandit's soul. Finally, the bandit leader emerged, his voice dripping with arrogance. "Who the hell are you, brat?" Mu-kyang met his question with a chilling, contemptuous silence. The leader's face twisted in murderous rage. Ignoring me? Kill him. Tear him to pieces. The horde surged forward like a pack of wolves. Moo-kyang's lips curled into a dark smirk. He stood motionless, reminiscing about true, legendary wars. Compared to the hellish battles of his past, this slaughter was nothing more than simple child's play. Easier than slaying the undead, he whispered. One swing of his blade sent 10 souls to hell. The leader cackled like a maniac. Finally, a toy worth breaking. Show me your true strength. How incredibly boring, Moo-kyang sighed. The leader roared, lunging forward with every ounce of his power. Death was inches away. The bandit leader swung his heavy blade to end Moo-kyang's life forever. But Hyang moved like a ghost. The massive blade struck only dirt, leaving the leader completely wide open. Before he could react, Hyang's steel sang through the air. One strike. Now, finish the rest of them. Hidden assassins lunged forward like shadows. Dawn broke over a battlefield, soaked in fresh blood and broken steel. The once fearsome bandit fortress was now a smoking ruin. Inside a hollow barrel, a lone survivor trembled. He peeked out cautiously, his heart pounding. Finally, the thief crawled out, his body stiff from sheer terror. Unbelievable. He gasped in horror. Our entire army was wiped out in a single night. I must report this. Darkness suddenly swallowed his vision. Moo-kyang stood there, an invincible monster appearing from the very shadows. With one cold strike, he sent the thief to hell. Take his head. Hyang's voice was like ice. We head home now. The soldier bowed low, but his mind was racing with absolute awe and dread. Moo-kyang was truly a walking nightmare. He destroyed an impregnable fortress alone. Is he even still human? Amidst the carnage, Hyang stared at a delicate hairpin. A soft thought flickered through his cold, warrior heart. Would So-yin like this? He wondered. Meanwhile, his army gathered the spoils of their absolute crushing victory. 100,000 silver pieces lay before them. Yet, the guild leader sighed, looking at the mountain of gold. We barely broke even. Information costs a fortune. This victory was legendary, but the price was very high. Captain Hyang, before we trade this loot, double-check for any survivors. We can't leave any loose ends behind. Hyang nodded calmly. My men are hunting them. I've placed a massive bounty on every single bandit's head. They won't escape. The leader relaxed, satisfied. He ordered the transport of the silver back to the vault, but a lingering shadow of doubt remained. Hyang, I need you to lead the guard for this shipment. Take 10 of my elite men. The Imperial Guard gave us their blessing. Nothing must go wrong today. Hyang accepted the mission. He understood the gravity. This shipment was a direct link to the Imperial Court. A long journey awaited him. At dusk, Hyang returned home to find So-yin playing happily by the gate. She rushed to him, eyes beaming. Her mother followed, welcoming the invincible warrior with a warm, kind smile. I hope you've been well. So-yin dragged him inside while her mother offered a humble, heartfelt meal. A simple dinner was all he needed. That night, peace felt real, even for a man born for war. The Imperial Guard's prestige soared. Hyang didn't just reclaim the stolen funds. He wiped out the local terror. He provided supplies and crushed the most notorious gangs, bringing order back to the lawless, broken lands. Expert martial artists were dispatched to train locals. Now, bandits found no place left to hide or breathe. 3 years of peaceful silence passed. Then, the summer heat was broken by the thunderous sound of hooves. Slow down, my lady, a panicked voice echoed. You will get hurt riding at that reckless, dangerous speed. I've got this. So-yin laughed, her spirit wild. Meanwhile, Hyang sat in deep, silent meditation on the rocks. Training atop a jagged cliff, Hyang enjoyed the tranquility. He planned to push his limits further this afternoon. Sir, a voice shattered his peace. His quiet morning was over as So-yin's horse skidded to a halt. You've become quite the rider, So-yin. Hyang smiled. The little girl had blossomed into a stunning young lady. Her face shone with beauty. I just got back from the city. She chirped with a radiant, happy smile. Can you take a look at this? She asked. Hyang watched as she dismounted with a warrior's agility. Watch closely. She began performing intricate martial arts. Hyang watched, impressed by her sharp, fluid, lethal movements. So, the Imperial Guards have been teaching you secrets? Hyang teased. She beamed with pride like a fighter. They were happy to teach me, she bragged. Hyang walked over and patted her head. You've truly grown. I am 16 now, you know? She puffed out her chest. How was my form? Then, her attendant arrived. The guard bowed deeply to Hyang. Thank you for looking after her, Hyang said, acknowledging his loyal service. The guild leader requests your presence immediately, the messenger announced. Hyang's eyes narrowed with sudden, sharp intrigue. It had been years since the last summons. Something big was coming. Hyang arrived at the opulent mansion. It is an honor to see you again, the leader greeted him. Hyang bowed, returning the formal gesture. Drop the formalities, please, Hyang said calmly. Suddenly, a man in a sharp military uniform stepped inside. A messenger arrives from the main sect with urgent news regarding your recent achievements. A grand reward awaits. Hyang opens the scroll. Commander of the 1,000 Wolf Corps, leading 100 elite warriors. This smells like the lone steel wanderer from the legends. If so, my next mission will likely lead me straight into his ancient stronghold. The guildmaster offers his praise, though Hyang now officially outranks his former boss. Don't worry about rank, the leader insists. When must you report to the headquarters? The messenger bows. There are matters to settle. You have 2 months before your departure. 2 months. Hyang stares into the distance, knowing these may be his final days home. He requests a final sum of gold. There is one person he must provide for. A magnificent new mansion towers over them. So-yeon gasps. Is this truly our new home? You're growing up, kid. You deserve your own space. So-yeon rushes inside, beaming with joy. Her mother stands frozen, overwhelmed by the sheer scale of Hyang's sudden generosity. My lord, why this? We already owe you more than we can ever repay. He presses a heavy pouch and a deed into her hands. Please, just accept this. I cannot take this fortune. He counters, keep it for So-yeon's future wedding. I must leave. I depart tomorrow. We may never cross paths again. The mother's heart sinks in shock. Tears blur her vision. So soon? We haven't even begun to return your immense kindness. So-yeon runs back, seeing her mother's tears. Mom? Why are you crying so hard? Hyang pats her head one last time. Listen well. I'm going away for a while. Promise me you'll be a good girl and protect your mother while I'm gone. Are you going far away again? He nods. And don't you dare slack on your training. I promise. I'll become a powerful master just like you. She shouts with a smile. Her innocence stings his heart. That's the spirit. You'll become a formidable warrior one day. Duty calls. Hyang stands before sect leader Cheonyen, who greets him with a sharp grin. Mook Hyang, your power has reached legendary heights since we last stood on this ground. Be grateful. You've been granted the authority to lead the 1,000 Wolf Corps ourselves. Master your blade and lead our cult to glory. I expect nothing but absolute perfection. Understood, Hyang bellows. Yet behind the salute, his mind is already drifting elsewhere. Days later, boredom sets in. This repetitive drill is killing me, he groans to himself. Sir? Did you say something? The adjutant asks. Nothing. Just talking to my own shadow. The soldiers chant in unison. 1 strike to fell 100. The wolf's edge. 1 strike to fell 1,000. Millennium Fang. Hyang sighs, resting his chin on his palm. Doing this every single day is driving me mad. This training is completely beneath me. You should take over the lead, he tells his adjutant, who pales in absolute terror. That's treason, Commander. If war breaks out, the men won't know how to follow you. They'll never match your speed if I'm the one setting the rhythm during the battle. Hyang waves him off. Just lead them yourself. My head is pounding from all this noise. Stop lecturing me. Suddenly, a reckless plan forms in Hyang's mind to escape the tedium. He forces his masked subordinate to play body double. But then, Cheonyen appears out of nowhere. The sect leader tosses the decoy aside like a rag doll, his eyes burning with fury. He grips the discarded wig, his voice trembling with rage. Where is Mook Hyang? Deep in the woods, Hyang finishes his solo session. As I thought, solo training is superior. Asterisk, crash, asterisk, the door explodes. Cheonyen storms in. Mook Hyang, what the hell is this? Deserting the corps for this? Hyang calmly sheathes his blade. I'm just training my way. The sect leader roars. You dare claim your methods are better than our sacred teachings? My sect? Hang nodded without a hint of fear, his blunt admission catching the master off guard. Stunned for a moment, Cheonyen finally snapped. demanding Hang draw his blade for a life-or-death duel. Sensing the master's rising fury, Hang accepted the challenge, thanking him for the chance to prove his worth. "Silence! Draw your steel and hold nothing back!" Qianyan roared, his patience wearing thin as ice. "Defeat me, and your arrogance shall be forgiven." Hang unsheathed his blade, fully understanding the master's killing intent. Hang reminisced on his journey. How long had it been since he truly unleashed his full, monstrous strength? He remembered the words. Reaching the legendary realm seemed impossible, yet he was destined to transcend those limits. Like a violent deluge capable of crushing mountains, his inner energy surged, no longer a mere trickling stream. Returning to reality, Hang drew the mountain smasher. Cheonyan's eyes widened in sheer disbelief at its aura. That blade, its resonance was perfect. Had this boy already mastered the pinnacle of sword reinforcement at such age? "With your permission, master." Hang struck, his single move shattering the earth and sending debris flying everywhere. Cheonyan barely parried the blow. Fuming, he lunged forward, desperately trying to reclaim the upper hand. But the master's body began to tremble. Pushing back this monster was proving to be an impossible task. As the sect leader, failure was not an option. He snarled a final warning, ready to unleash his true power. Behold the blood dragon's secret, a technique only accessible to those who have mastered 10 stages of inner cultivation. Leaping into the sky, he unleashed the roaring breath of the blood dragon, a strike meant to incinerate everything. Can ultimate martial arts truly swallow the world? Can one man's blade really bring an entire nation to its knees? Hang wasn't sure of his destiny, but he knew one thing. Reaching the top required more than just talent. It required endless sweat, agonizing tears, and rivers of blood spilled during years of grueling, bone-breaking solitary training. To reach the legendary heights, one must not only train but crush every master standing in their path. Back in the clash, Hang's next strike was so devastating that the sect leader found himself completely defenseless. Damn it, his swordsmanship is too overwhelming. Qianyan strained, his eyes bloodshot from the pressure of Hang's aura. At the decisive moment, Hang suddenly sheathed his blade, leaving the shocked master standing in a daze. "I yield. Your skills are far superior." Hang lied respectfully, bowing low to preserve the elder's pride. "Please forgive my rudeness." Qianyan watched him, confused by this sudden display of humility after such dominance. "Your power is extraordinary. Fine. You are exempt from further training." With that, the master walked away. Entering the empty hall, Qianyan's composure shattered. His face twisted in rage as his pride burned like acid. He smashed a pillar in half with a single punch, unaware that a scouting bird watched his every move. The bird flew straight to its master. "Ah, has something entertaining happened?" the mysterious man asked with a smirk. That night, Hang knelt before the supreme cult leader, who was quietly engrossed in an ancient scroll. "So it's you? Your progress is quite impressive." Hang remained humble, dismissing the high praise as mere luck. The leader summoned Elder Hoin, who stepped forward with a piercing gaze. "So, you are the famous Hang? Your work in Luoyang expanded our influence, opening 3 new branches. However, a new obstacle has appeared before us. Our business interests are being strangled by the Justice Bureau." Hang's brow furrowed at the mention of this name. The Justice Bureau? Elder Humi began to explain the situation with cold, calculating precision to the young warrior. "They have only 200 men, but their leader is a monster. A titan among the orthodox factions. He is the Sword Emperor, Hu Qian, a master who has reached the legendary fire realm of cultivation. They use their authority to block our path. Therefore, I have a special mission for you. Kill the Emperor. If he falls, the orthodox world will tremble, knowing a power exists that can slay even their greatest champion." The cult leader added, "Take 4 of our elite assassins with you to ensure this mission's absolute success." Hang refused immediately. He was confident that his own blade alone was enough to end the Emperor's life. Night draped over the desolate forest as a group of weary scouts wandered through the thick, eerie shadows. "Must we hunt so far tonight?" they groaned, their bodies heavy with exhaustion and their spirits crushed by fatigue. "This mission is a nightmare. Let's just finish this for the gold and get out of this hellhole. We have 0 leads besides this one cryptic drawing. Who is this mysterious person we're even looking for? This portrait is a dead ringer from Muqiang. Is there a sinister plot afoot or just a coincidence?" Fatigue weighed heavy on the group, forcing a halt. Suddenly, A distant campfire flickered through the dark woods. Someone was resting by that blazing fire. "Let's investigate," the leader whispered, leading them toward the unknown. They approached the lone figure cautiously. Little did they know, the man before them was the legendary monster himself. 𝒔𝒔𝒂𝒔 didn't even flinch at their arrival. "Speak your piece," he commanded with a voice like chilling steel. The veteran mercenary bowed. "We seek the man in this scroll, the butcher who slaughtered the Heaven One Tower. This killer vanished 5 years ago." They desperately needed clues to track down the monster behind that tragedy. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 pulled back his hood, revealing eyes that had seen 1,000 deaths. "Never heard of him," he lied. Though his lips denied it, his face told the truth. The mercenaries froze. The murderer was standing right there. "Is he really that terrifying?" a scout whispered. Scarface nodded, his skin crawling from the man's hidden bloodlust. "He could have ended our lives 100 times already." They were dealing with a force beyond human comprehension. How could he mask such overwhelming power? Normally, a master's aura would scream, but his was hauntingly silent. Amidst the crackling flames, 𝒔𝒂𝒔 spoke. "I won't give you my head, but I'll offer a deadly deal." "A deal?" Scarface stammered. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 calmly poured water, his every movement radiating a predator's grace and precision. "I'm hunting a legend you all know well, the one they call the Sword Emperor, Haijin." The mercenaries gasped in terror. "The Sword Emperor? Do you have any idea what kind of god you're challenging?" "I'm a stranger to this world's politics," 𝒔𝒂𝒔 replied. "Show me the path to his mountain retreat. Guide me there. If I perish, my head and the golden bounty is yours to claim without a fight." Greed fought with fear in Scarface's mind. Finally, he nodded. The contract with the devil was officially sealed. "Fine. We'll lead you." At daybreak, the unlikely allies began their journey into the treacherous mountain peaks. They rode through the jagged wilderness until 𝒔𝒂𝒔 suddenly pulled his reins. His senses had caught a shadow. "Show yourselves!" he thundered. Suddenly, the very air seemed to ripple as dark figures emerged from the void. Black shadows blurred past the horses, moving with a speed that defied the laws of the physical world. Scarface turned to see elite assassins kneeling in the dirt, pledging their lives to the man on horseback. "The Grand Elder sent us to reinforce you," the leader declared. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 merely frowned at their unwanted presence. "Begone," he ordered. But the shadows remained motionless, bound by a loyalty that surpassed the fear of death. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 sighed, yielding to fate. "Follow then, but stay silent. If you act without my command, you die." "We live only to serve your will, Great Elder," the assassins echoed before vanishing back into the trees. The mercenaries were drenched in cold sweat. Those high-level masters, they're all just his humble servants? As the sun set behind the mountains, they realized their employer was no mere man, he was a god. "We're nearly there," Scarface signaled. The journey's end loomed ahead, shrouded in the mists of the high peaks. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 looked toward the ridge. Hidden away from the world sat a sanctuary of breathtaking, lethal beauty. A massive estate appeared, its elegant pavilions shimmering on the surface of a vast, emerald-green lake. White plum blossoms danced in the breeze while birds sang, oblivious to the storm arriving at the gates. Under the blossoms, an old man smiled. "The guest I've been waiting for has finally arrived at last. Prepare the tea," the white-haired master told his attendant. "A very special visitor has traveled a long way." The group halted at the main gate. "This is it," Scarface whispered. "The residence of the Sword Emperor." Before they could knock, a servant stepped out. "Please, follow me. My master is expecting you inside." The mercenaries were stunned by the coincidence. Then, a calm, powerful voice echoed from within the courtyard. "Don't be strangers. Come in and join me," the Emperor invited, his tone warm yet impossibly heavy. Who was this youth to merit such a welcome? Was he a favored disciple or a legendary rival? Even the hidden assassins were confused. Why walk through the front door of the man you've come to kill, to enter the lion's den so boldly? 𝒔𝒂𝒔's confidence was either absolute mastery or total madness. Inside, a lavish feast was prepared. Fragrant tea and soft music filled the air as two titans met. "This tea is a rare treasure," the Emperor said, pouring a cup. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 accepted, the tension reaching its peak. Gulping down his tea like a commoner, our hero ignores all etiquette. The Sword Emperor chuckles at such unrefined manners. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 shrugs, admitting he was never taught rules. He refuses to be shackled by such trivial formalities. A truly eccentric soul, the Emperor muses. He wonders why a man with no greed for status seeks his head. I came only for the sake of duty, 𝒔𝒂𝒔 replies coldly. There is no other reason for this encounter. The emperor nods slowly, accepting the answer. Tell me, how does my tea taste? It is good, he says bluntly. But alcohol still tastes better than any leaf. Nearby, Scarface's crew watches in stunned silence. They wonder if this young man is truly a match for the Sword Emperor. Reaching the Fire Realm must grant eternal youth. To think a man looking 30 could be a legendary master. Widemouth whispers nervously to his leader. Big brother, is it really safe for us to stay here? The Emperor clearly knows this youth is his assassin, yet they talk like old friends over tea. If we wait any longer, we'll die without a single coin. The mercenaries tremble as the tension thickens. Suddenly, servants arrive with a fresh spread of food. Apologies. Mountain life offers only simple dishes, they bow. But for these hungry men, everything else fades away. Even a life-and-death duel is secondary to a hot meal. Let's eat first and then run, Widemouth suggests. His stomach is far louder than his common sense. Exactly. It would be rude to reject such hospitality. They justify their greed with fake manners. Shut up and eat, the leader growls. He sighs at his pathetic, drooling subordinates. While they feast, a group of warriors enters the courtyard. These powerful masters bow deeply before the Sword Emperor. The Shadow Guard recognizes them immediately. These are the elite experts of the Daeryong Gate. Panic begins to set in as the enemy numbers grow. Damn it, a direct confrontation now would be suicide. You've arrived, the Emperor says sternly. Come, observe this man. The lessons you learn today will be invaluable. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 observes the newcomers with a sharp eye. Your children are well trained, he remarks casually. They are merely for show, the Emperor humble brags. Tell me, do you study anything besides the way of the sword? I have dabbled in a few things, 𝒔𝒂𝒔 answers. But only music truly captured my interest. The Emperor's eyes light up with curiosity. Oh? Then do you know how to play the zither? A little, 𝒔𝒂𝒔 admits. With a snap of his fingers, the Emperor orders an instrument brought forth. I am eager to see your performance. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 simply nods, ready to begin. As his fingers touch the strings, the world goes silent. Everyone in the courtyard is instantly mesmerized. The melody is soul-piercing, echoing through the sunset. It blends perfectly with the tranquil mountain air. The music stops as his hands come to a rest. Not a single person dares to breathe. Thank you for listening to my humble song. The Sword Emperor erupts into thunderous applause. Your technique is simple, yet your internal energy flows through every note. It was a melody that vibrated through the very soul. Since you have reached such heights, answer me this. Do you believe the sword is martial arts? A sword is just a sword, 𝒔𝒂𝒔 replies. Why ask something so incredibly obvious? The Emperor roars with laughter at the blunt answer. It has been far too long since I had such a refreshing chat. His adopted children watch in utter disbelief. They have never seen their father so joyful with a stranger. Who is that youth? Has he really reached the Fire Realm? To them, the two men look like transcendental beings. The gap in their power is like heaven and earth. This is a conversation between gods that mortals cannot fathom. Their discussion carries on deep into the night. Must one put their heart into the blade to master it? The inferior path is to lose oneself in the sword. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 offers his cold, sharp perspective. That is all I can tell you regarding that philosophy. The Emperor ponders, finding the idea of total self-loss impossible. Then what is the superior path? He asks. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 shakes his head, refusing to reveal more. Such things cannot be found in books or manuals. The Emperor then asks if he will ever take a disciple. I have no interest in teaching, 𝒔𝒂𝒔 states. I will only hone my own path until the very end. Truly formidable. The Emperor sighs in admiration. Will you tell me the name of the style you seek? 𝒔𝒂𝒔 does not hesitate to share his secret. The legendary name is finally spoken into the night. It is known as the impermanent sword art. Even the Sword Emperor finds it fascinating. What a terrifying name. Impermanence, you say? My curiosity is piqued. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 smirks, promising the Emperor he will witness its power soon. Fine. I shall join the fray myself. The Emperor stands, dusting off his robes. Now, begin your mission. Dawn breaks over the villa. The central arena has been meticulously prepared for this legendary clash of steel. Sword Emperor Haijian grips his blade. It has been far too long since my steel-tasted battle. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 offers a sincere compliment. That blade is a masterpiece, radiating the very essence of the mountains. This is the tyrant's blade. At first, I didn't recognize its true power, but it has grown on me. And what of your weapon? Moo-kyang gazes down at the simple sword held firmly in his hand. This is the dark soul. It is mere cast iron and cannot match yours, yet I cherish it deeply. I expect great things. Suddenly, Ah-il, the emperor's foster son, steps forward to receive his final orders. Listen well, I spar with this youth today. Should I fall? No one is permitted to seek revenge. This is a duel of honor. The son can only bow his head in silent, painful acceptance. Turning to young Seo-cheon, the emperor speaks. If I perish, I want you to inherit this sword. Master, what do you mean? Seo-cheon gasps. How could I ever take your most precious treasure? It is just a tool I once used. Though you are young, you remind me of my own youth. He smiles warmly at the boy. Carry it always. Let it be a part of your very soul. I understand, master. Seo-cheon bows, vowing to never forget these final, heavy instructions from his mentor. The emperor turns back to Moo-kyang. Forgive the delay. Now, let us begin our dance of death. He draws his blade with a lethal ring. Moo-kyang shifts into a defensive stance, ready for the impact. Fascinating. I have never seen anyone attempt to defend themselves with a simple cast-iron sword before. This is the third technique of the Iron Wall. It is the ultimate defense against any lethal strike. Impressive, the emperor shouts, launching a devastating slash that cuts through the very air toward his opponent. Moo-kyang expertly parries the lightning-fast strikes. Your defense is quite formidable, the emperor notes with a grin. With your mastery, it won't take long to break. Please, do not hold anything back against me. If that is what you wish. The emperor floods his blade with inner chi, manifesting the black dragon. Moo-kyang feels the suffocating pressure of his killing intent. Suddenly, a massive explosion rocks the entire arena. The sheer force of the collision blows the spectators back. Everyone, stay back. The power is too intense. Moo-kyang is forced into a retreat. I thought my chi could hold, but that legendary blade is different. He realizes he must change his strategy immediately. He shifts his weight, preparing to counterattack with speed. Technique 1, Chapter 3. Moo-kyang lunges forward, his blade moving like a bolt of lightning across the sky. The emperor's excitement grows. To think you could neutralize my dragon god form. This is getting interesting. He raises his sword toward the heavens. Let us see how you handle the true weight of my steel. Moo-kyang charges like a wild warhorse. The sound of clashing metal echoes across the villa like thunder. Their movements become a blur to the naked eye. Only the sparks from their blades signal the battle. Scarface watches in disbelief. This kid is a monster. I never imagined he possessed such terrifying strength. It is a miracle they are even surviving this. The battle reaches a fever pitch of pure destruction. The emperor silently evaluates his foe. I have mastered 10 levels of this art, yet he persists. Just how deep is this boy's talent? It is time to show him the peak of my swordsmanship. He channels every ounce of his internal energy into his weapon, preparing his most secret, lethal technique. Flying dragon form. Moo-kyang is stunned as the emperor's sword literally takes flight, guided by pure chi. Then I have no choice. Moo-kyang executes the legendary Chapter 2, sending his own blade spinning forward. The Imperial Air Sword. The emperor gasps as the two blades collide in midair with a deafening crack. The emperor's treasure is knocked aside, piercing the ground. Has he truly mastered every legendary sword art? Without a moment's rest, Moo-kyang transitions into his next form. The Void Strike begins its deadly path. The Sword Emperor is forced onto the defensive. I underestimated him. This is truly beyond all belief. Inconceivable. This monster creates a devastating sword force with only his bare hands. A violent strike shatters the earth below. Dust clouds the sky as the Sword Emperor barely escapes death. A single second's delay would have been his end. Caught off guard, his reflexes were the only thing that saved his life. But Moo-kyang isn't finished yet. A sphere of deep blue energy gathers in his palm. The Sword Emperor grits his teeth. The assault is unrelenting. Moo-kyang unleashes the roaring dragon strike. The Emperor is paralyzed by the sheer pressure of that inner power. I thought I knew every master in the martial world, but this unknown monster is in a different league entirely. The world of martial arts is truly vast. Moo-kyang turns, sending shockwaves through the debris beneath his feet. Gale force winds threaten to sweep everyone away. What kind of monstrous power is this? The Emperor stares in horror. The atmosphere itself is being sucked into a vacuum. He lunges forward, blinded by a veil of thick black smoke. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 vanishes, appearing like a ghost behind his opponent, a strike aimed to end it all. But the Emperor flickers away. I thought you were merely defending. You really intended to take my life there. That warning was the only reason I avoided a fatal wound. Though it feels like I've already lost. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 smiles coldly. Shall we continue? The Emperor nods. It is not over until it is over. He readies his ultimate stance. You are full of surprises, but I won't show you a single opening now. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 evades with godlike speed. Excellent reaction. They clash again with enough force to split the sky. A massive explosion rocks the battlefield. The Emperor summons the heavens. The white dragon's thunderous descent begins. Lightning rains down as the world turns to white. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 watches calmly. What a magnificent sight to behold. The Emperor is baffled. Why is he just standing there? Is he planning to take the full force of the lightning? 𝒔𝒂𝒔 whispers a defensive mantra. A thunderous roar shakes the world. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 screams in terror. It is over. Or so they thought. This level of combat is beyond human comprehension. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 emerges from the smoke, with a smirk, unharmed. The Emperor's heart sinks into despair. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 tells the others to watch closely. This is the legendary treasure of martial arts, a battle worth dying for. Master is actually struggling. I used to wonder how strong the impermanent sword was. Now I see it as absolute. The dragon law is nearly impossible to master. It requires perfect control of sword force. Its power is truly terrifying. Anyone who can counter such a technique is a monster among men. The Emperor stands frozen in awe. As the dust settles, the landscape is left in total ruin. The Emperor falls to his knees. I didn't even have a moment to sheath my sword. You are truly formidable. How did a master like you remain hidden? You flatter me. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 takes to the skies. Both warriors charge with one final burst of madness. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 swings. The Emperor dodges, but he only finds empty air, as 𝒔𝒂𝒔 retreats instantly. The wind-piercing strike erupts from below, hurling the Emperor backward. He coughs out a mouthful of blood. The disciples cry out in agony, "Father! Master!" The situation has turned dire. His internal energy shield is shattered, his body is at its limit, yet he forces himself to stand. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 approaches, but the Emperor spreads his arms, ready to accept his fate with honor. He kneels in gratitude. Without this battle, I could never have reached this level. Tell me your name. Call me the Master of Karma. 𝒔𝒂𝒔. The Emperor smiles. I suppose that will have to do. Please spare my disciples. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 agrees. Rest easy. Your legacy will not end here. Listen to me. Do not seek revenge until you have 5 masters as strong as I. Do you understand? They weep uncontrollably. We will remember your words. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 sobs as her heart breaks. The Sword Emperor smiles peacefully. To have fought a master of the transcendent realm is the greatest honor of my life. He finally falls. The disciples scream in rage. How dare you do this to our master? They prepare to attack, but 𝒔𝒂𝒔 stops them. Have you forgotten Father's final command? Look at him. He traded his pride to save your lives. Should I just end you all here? Shut up. We don't need your mercy. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 looks on with cold indifference. You fools! Seojin, take the king's sword and warn the others of the truth. But brother, I want to stay. Stop talking and go. Now, run. He is a manifestation realm monster. Not even Father could survive his divine wrath. Our lives are at stake. Escape now. Thutran heard the warning and fled instantly. But then 𝒔𝒂𝒔 spoke. Hunt him down. Who is this terrifying beast they fear? Panic erupted as they scattered. With one flash of steel, the ground became a graveyard. The survivors trembled in horror. Such slaughter. How can we possibly survive this nightmare? We must follow him. Escape is death now. He shook, dreading the invincible monster ahead. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 kicked the door open. Are you that old fool's disciple? He asked coldly. I am his grandson. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 smiled. Those eyes, you'll become a true monster someday. He turned to the girl. And you? Just a lowly servant, sir. She retreating timidly. If you can kill me, the gold is yours. But don't get your hopes up. Forgive our arrogance. Great one. We were blind to the heavens. They begged for mercy. Reporting. Great leader. The Grand Elder has managed to escape the carnage and fled. With such pathetic strength, you dared to follow me? Begone. The subordinates hesitated in fear. 𝒔𝒂𝒔's brow furrowed. A failed mission is worthless. Do not let it happen again. Go to the martial halls. Tell them I am coming to collect their heads myself. Will you deliver my message? The old man nodded, his voice trembling with pure terror. He tossed a coin as payment. They were stunned. Are we actually going to live? Get strong, kid. Maybe then you'll be worth killing." With that, he vanished into shadows. The old man gasped for air. I nearly lost my head. I've aged 10 years today. Why did he spare us? The man wondered why a demon would leave survivors behind. One escaped, so killing the rest is meaningless. This is simply the hand of fate. Night fell as an urgent cry rang out. "Emergency! Prepare the final defense immediately." "Young master, what happened? Why are you in such a frantic state? Where is the fourth brother?" He burst into the room, his face pale as death. "Brother, disaster has struck. Our master. He has passed away." The news hit like thunder. Was he ill? No. He was cut down in a duel by a supreme master. Defeated. Who is this man? He calls himself the Master of Shadows, 𝒔𝒂𝒔𝒔, a manifestation realm expert. Father was honored to trade blows with such a legendary monster. His final wish was no revenge. No revenge. How can we let his killer live? Everyone else was slaughtered. He is a living legend, a calamity we cannot stop. He'll be here soon. We must fortify the gates and prepare for the coming storm. And the eldest brother? He is gone too. Fallen to that same demonic blade. The fourth brother collapsed. To lose both to one man, the power gap was terrifying. Record every detail of Father's final moments. We must understand the technique of that monster. Gather every disciple. If he comes, we will make our final stand together. Elsewhere, a dark presence stirred. Enter, 𝒔𝒂𝒔𝒔. I heard your mission was a bloodbath. Thank you, my lord. But why a duel? Why not kill him from the shadows? To face a master of that level, I would risk my life just to feel his blade. You hunger for strength. Tell me, do you think you could actually defeat 𝒔𝒔𝒊𝒏? The Dark Emperor laughed, but then a sudden, lethal aura sliced through the very air. His head snapped back in shock. Was that just his raw killing intent? Incredible. What a cunning brat. To challenge the three emperors, you need that insane courage. Do you want my throne? 𝒔𝒂𝒔 bowed. I only desire to reach the peak. I have no interest in ruling. I only seek the path to becoming invincible, the power of a god, but no desire for a crown? You are unique. Even at your young age, your mastery rivals mine. Such talent cannot be wasted. If the throne doesn't interest you, become my vice leader. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 remained stoically calm. Only if I keep my absolute freedom, he replied. The leader agreed without a second thought. By law, the leader only commands 5 elite guards, a small price for such immense power. That position sounds acceptable, he stated bluntly. But my guards must not possess demonic energy. The Dark Emperor eyed his blade. Fine. I shall forge you a legendary new sword myself. I will use the finest steel, tempered in the sacred flames of Earth's primal essence. They say this essence mirrors a warrior's soul, birthing a weapon perfectly attuned to its master. A blade fit for a vice leader. Suddenly, he asked, Do you play the game of Go? I know nothing of Go, 𝒔𝒂𝒔 admitted. But I am quite skilled at Zhenggi. That's a pity, the leader sighed. But 𝒔𝒂𝒔 smiled. I'd rather be the player than the piece. I refuse to be anyone's pawn. The leader laughed, delighted by his indomitable warrior spirit. To look into my eyes and see only battle. Marvelous. I shall learn your game then. Until I master Zhenggi, take these Go pieces as a token of our future matches. But stay away from my board for now. Soon, 𝒔𝒂𝒔 stepped back into the world. A vice leader. What a uselessly heavy title, he muttered, glancing at his new medallion. This place looks exactly like my old home in Luoyang. I wonder how little Uyen is. You've grown quite a bit, a familiar voice called out. He turned, stunned to see Liu Bach. 3 months, and you're already vice leader? Let's drink to your meteoric rise, my boy. Long time no see, senior. I'm ready to listen to your wisdom all through the night. They toasted as the sun dipped below the horizon, their laughter echoing through the fortress. Suddenly, a group knelt before him. We offer our greetings to the new vice leader. It is an honor to serve you again. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 laughed. Wait, it's you lot again? You haven't changed a bit. The girl beamed. My youthful looks are thanks to my cultivation. He didn't call you young, her comrade teased, earning a swift, painful punch to the ribs. Enough. You 4 are now the 4 gentlemen. Choose your titles. Plum, orchid, chrysanthemum, or bamboo. I'll be the orchid, the girl chirped. Ma Sich followed. Then call me bamboo. The others don't suit me. I'll take Plum. Yen Chun decided with a firm nod. That leaves you as Chrysanthemum. Satisfied? The last guard slumped in despair but accepted anyway. From today, you are my personal unit. Your true training begins under my direct command. Hone your skills relentlessly. I expect you to become the ultimate weapons of this cult. We live to serve, Vice Leader, they roared. Meanwhile, in the shadows, a conversation stirred. You've given him quite the position, a subordinate whispered. The leader toyed with a stone. Blades are forbidden in my presence, but for him, I make an exception. He is special. He is a magnificent knight on my board. But the subordinate smirked. Or perhaps a rook? No matter how strong he grows, he can never hope to touch our great leader's shadow. He is just one finger on the hand of destiny. The subordinate sneered with cold confidence. I prefer go over chess, the leader mused. As the board fills, the chaos only grows. Chess pieces move freely, but go pieces? Once placed, they are fixed until they perish. He slammed a stone down, locked in their positions until death finally claims them from the board. Cut to the training grounds. Plum and Bamboo launched a ferocious, synchronized frontal assault. Orchid struck from the skies while Chrysanthemum aimed for his back. Moo-kyung just smiled. A pincer attack? Impressive effort. Suddenly, a massive shockwave of ki leveled the area. We failed to even touch him, Orchid hissed. Moo-kyung loomed through the dust, analyzing them. Plum has precision. Bamboo has raw power. And Orchid, your tactical instincts are truly perfect. Kook mastered lethal stealth and assassination techniques, possessing swordsmanship worthy of a professional killer. Yet, Moo-kyung hesitated, sensing their power still fell short for the independent guard unit's duties. Their martial arts and mana remained stagnant. Hyang declared that from tomorrow, he would train them individually. I will teach you personally. Practice for 2 hours daily. The 4 warriors answered in unison. They obeyed. Meanwhile, Hyang entered the Demon Lord's secret vault, a private sanctuary filled with forbidden scrolls. The essence remains the same. He recalled reading the blood sex manuals, but they offered nothing new. Those were merely illusions and necromancy. These scrolls claimed that even pure, high-level internal energy has limits. He pondered his next evolution. Currently, none of the cult's masters could even hope to challenge him. Even the most secure gates felt like child's play. Suddenly, a voice called out to the Vice Leader. Vice Leader, I am here for training. Is something troubling your mind? Hyang reflected deeply. Is there anything in this world truly impossible? Kook stroked his chin, pondering the Vice Leader's question. How about climbing the Demon God Cave's cliffs at the Holy Mountain? Hyang scoffed. Too easy for me. Kook smirked. Then go to the southern pine forest and count every single needle on those trees. Moo-kyung was stunned. Count leaves? Kook nodded, explaining an ancient legend from the Shaolin Temple. They used this to imprison a legendary troublemaker. The fierce winds there blow twice every single day. The condition was to count leaves on 1,000 trees to earn freedom. My chosen forest is windless, but it has 3,000 trees, matching the difficulty. Surely, you can achieve this superhuman feat, Master. Hyang grew curious about the prisoner's fate. So, what happened to that man in the end? Kook replied. He died of old age, never leaving. Hyang's eyes gleamed with newfound interest. That is indeed beyond human limits. I must try it. The forest was far larger than imagined. Let's start counting from the first trunk. Hyang leaped. 1,300. 70. 75. This requires insane mental calculation and perfect stealth. Otherwise, my movements will scatter the leaves. The forest is massive. No wonder the Shaolin master died. True martial arts peak might lie here. Suddenly, a scout called out. Vice Leader. The blacksmith begs for an audience to apologize. Hyang descended, confused. Back at the vault, the blacksmith trembled, dreading the young master's wrath. Please forgive my incompetence, Vice Leader. Hyang was shocked to see the old man kneeling in shame. Why this display? The smith sobbed. I have failed. I cannot even look you in the eye. The sword I forged per your request is flawed. I must destroy it and start anew. I came to beg for your guidance once more, despite my extreme insolence. Hyang waved him off. If it's done, just give it to me. I don't need perfection. The smith hesitated, visibly terrified. It's fine, I said. Hyang grabbed the blade and swung. It doesn't seem weak at all. Where is the failure? The smith sighed. Demonic and righteous energies have somehow merged within the steel. It cannot amplify pure demonic power properly. Hyang grinned. Is that so? Let me test it. Hyang took a deep breath, unleashing a devastating strike. The blacksmith watched in absolute horror. Impossible. Hyang executed the heaven-shattering moon technique. The balance of light and dark felt perfect. The sword required both energies to truly awaken. Beside the smith, Kook stood frozen in awe. What was that power? Hyang turned, smiling. And you called this a failure? It's magnificent. The smith bowed low. My vision was narrow. Your dual cultivation has given this blade life. It is a soul-bound treasure that only you, vice leader, can ever wield. Hyang felt satisfied. I like it. The smith then presented another gift. Please accept this companion blade as well. It's the Dark Soul's twin, named Dark Shadow Flight. Hyang approved. A beautiful name for a weapon. I shall use them well. Later, while returning home, Hyang sensed 3 powerful presences lurking. They have decent strength. Not mere thieves, but I cannot enter my home openly like this. Their energy felt foreign to the cult. Who would dare infiltrate the demon sect's headquarters? The intruders noticed him. Among them, a girl gasped for air, bleeding out from severe wounds. Hyang sensed rats lurking. An ambush? He decided to observe their intent first. He entered calmly. Suddenly, a cold blade pressed hard against his throat. Quiet! Stay still or die, one hissed. Another demanded his sword immediately. Hyang smirked. 3 injured fools leaking mana, likely fugitives from the sect. Where is the exit? The leader barked. They were desperate to escape. Amused, Hyang pondered. Should he kill them now or play along? He chose a game. 3 more miles to freedom. He lied smoothly. 3 miles? The leader's eyes narrowed. Who are you to live here? An exile's son, Hyang bowed. Training in secret to rejoin the cult. The leader felt pity. He sensed no demonic aura from the boy. Believing the act, his tone softened. He saw a child, not a monster. Guide us out, he commanded. Hyang sensed a chance for profit. That is risky, he whispered. What is my reward for such danger? They agreed. Rest first, Hyang offered. I know some medical arts. Heal her first, the leader urged, pointing to a girl nearing death. Demonic fist wounds. But her pure internal energy had barely saved her. Her face was familiar. A technique he hadn't seen in centuries stirred memories. Was his mind fading? Soon, he had stabilized their shattered, bleeding meridians. Thank you, they gasped. The pain is gone. You saved our lives. Hyang acted humble, though his mind stayed focused on the gold. Something felt wrong. He had scanned the 2 men during the treatment. Their arts were inconsistent. Why was the girl's power so much more refined? Suddenly, Lan called from outside. Vice leader. It's Lan. I have news. Hyang slipped out. Buy supplies, rice, herbs, and some healing pills. And fetch the Mathuk pills, he added before slamming the door shut. Lan stood confused. Are you truly sheltering those runaway prisoners? She whispered. They were disciples from the Heaven-Earth Gate, dangerous traitors who escaped. They are hiding here, Lan warned. The entire cult was searching now. If the leader knew, time was short. Yet, that girl's art fascinated him. Does everyone know? He asked. Lan confirmed the great leader was aware. He needed to finish this. But why did that girl's technique haunt him? Do they use Hienvan arts? He asked. Lan shook her head quickly. Orthodox arts are sacred, she explained. Mixing them would be seen as heresy. Hyang grew curious. If she used the true Hienvan style, could she be from that lineage? 3 months had passed in a flash. Tell the leader I'll handle this, he commanded. Bring the supplies tonight. He couldn't abandon her. The next morning, he led them towards safety. How much further? One asked. Hyang pointed to the distant horizon. That path leads to freedom, he said. The leader bowed in gratitude. My sword, the man asked. Hyang returned it, eyes flashing dangerously. Suddenly, his aura exploded. The fugitives froze. Is this a trap? I don't kill the weak, he scoffed. Lan handed the girl a box. A parting gift, Hyang explained. Since I was unprepared for guests, he handed over silver. Take it. You will need it for survival. The girl stared, confused. Why would a stranger show us such kindness? Hang let out a boisterous laugh. I always keep my word. Guard your lives well, everyone. With that, he vanished. Both he and Lan disappeared into thin air, leaving the trio stunned. Xiao Yuan quickly opened the mysterious gift. Inside were elegant earrings and a necklace. As she gazed at them, a buried childhood memory suddenly flooded back. "Uncle, look at this. It is so beautiful," little Xiao Yuan pleaded. Hang chuckled. "You are too small for jewelry. When can I wear them then?" Hang patted her head. "When you grow up, I will gift you something far better. I promise." Realization struck like lightning, but he was gone. "Uncle!" Xiao Yuan's desperate cry echoed in the silence. Curious, Lan asked if she was his flesh and blood. Hang replied, "Only a foster daughter I never wanted in Murim." "Fate is unpredictable," he mused. Suddenly, a messenger approached with an urgent summons from the absolute cult leader. "Vice leader, the Great Lord demands your presence immediately." Hang sighed. That man is as impatient as ever. To a grandmaster, every pawn is precious. But if a piece fails its duty, the demonic cult discards it. Hang felt a suffocating pressure. The legendary powerhouses of the demonic cult had gathered, their combined auras shaking the air. From the three-faced centaur to the eye of the lone soldier, the deadliest masters stood in grim formation. The wicked beauty, the ghost of inconstancy, and the light of the North Star, all lethal monsters of the shadow world. Finally, the great demon emperor, Han Jung-kat, sat upon his throne. "Do you have an excuse, vice leader?" "I acted on a personal matter, my lord," Hang replied. "Are you planning to execute them all now?" "That was not your decision to make," the leader growled. "You overstepped your bounds by acting alone." "Then I shall be bold," Hang countered. "Why not release the prisoners and forge an alliance with their sect?" The wicked beauty's eyes flashed with rage. "Watch your tongue, vice leader. You are treading on dangerous ground." Hang ignored the threat. "The Heaven and Earth sect has 2,000 disciples. We should use them or erase them." "Enough. Why are you really doing this?" the Great Lord demanded. Hang stood firm. "My daughter is among them." The Emperor's voice turned cold as ice. "A foster daughter? You risked our plans for a common girl? Is she the servant girl from Luoyang 3 years ago? Or some brat you taught for a few days? You have been apart for 10 years. She is neither your blood nor your true disciple. Just a beggar. Why take responsibility for a nobody? I will ask you one last time." The Emperor's aura flared dangerously. Hang did not flinch. "I apologize, my lord, but I will never raise my blade against that child." "So that is your final answer? Fine. Your stubbornness wins this time. Do as you please." "I thank you for your mercy," Hang bowed. The Emperor turned away. "I will discuss details with Elder Huyn." Everyone is dismissed. Vice Leader Nang Fijioi, stay behind. The tension in the room remained thick as blood. The leader sneered. "He is too sentimental for a killer. I thought he was a powerful knight on the board, but he acts like a useless piece. Mu Kyung, if you wish to become a rook, then survive this gamble." Later, Mai approached anxiously. "Are you all right, Vice Leader?" Hang immediately gave her a secret, high-stakes mission. "Guard my daughter secretly as she returns to Luoyang. Find out why she joined that sect and find her mother. Report everything to me within 1 month. I will meet you in Luoyang then." Mai bowed. "By your command." Scene change. Elder Huyn began reading a top-secret dossier. The target is Zhen Yang, master of the Heaven sect, a muscular giant over 6 feet tall. They call him the Righteous Warrior because he never breaks a promise. He harbors a deep, burning hatred for our demonic cult. The reason is simple and fueled by blood. His father died from a fatal wound inflicted by one of our masters. He is a man of vengeance. He has gathered over 200 elite warriors. However, he treats the Dragon Hall master with pure disdain. Zhen Yang hates arrogance, and Long Thian Ich is nothing but a boastful fool, Hang noted, wanting more intel. Elder Huyn shook his head. "I am only responsible for internal cult intelligence. I have done my duty. If a single detail is wrong, you may take my head." Hang let out a cold, mocking smirk. "Take your head? Men who only use their brains need to feel true terror to stop their schemes." Hang leaned in, his killing intent sharp. "No need to be so tense. I am just making a point. Touching my sword is just an old habit. Killing someone like you does not even require a blade. Anyway, what do you think about a non-aggression pact with Zhen Yang?" The elder paused, considering the implications. "Even for the Heaven and Earth sect, A pact is fragile if the Murim world opposes my rise. If they unite against us, mercy is dead. But a simple non-aggression treaty will serve my plan. Draft the scroll immediately. 10 days later, 𝒔𝒔𝒂𝒔 led 20 elite killers toward the city of Luoyang. Along the path, 𝑦𝒔𝒊𝒏𝒄𝒆 perfected her lethal zither, a melody that brings a blissful, poison-laced death. Known as the grace of sound, her name masks a soul that thrives on absolute, sinful decadence. Leading the Left Guardian's killers, she descended upon the small heaven and earth sect like a silent predator. 20 days passed until Luoyang appeared. His subordinates had spent sleepless nights unearthing every secret for him. Jingyang was supposedly a hero of honor, despite his reputation as a depraved, lustful eccentric. A good man, they claimed. The king of death roared with laughter, mocking such pathetic, fragile morality. In the darkness, no man is truly righteous. 𝒌𝒑 questioned if the alliance was the true plan. 𝒔𝒔𝒂𝒔 nodded coldly, then went to find Xiao Yan's mother, curious if she still survived. She lived near the sect now. Jingyang had even taken the girl as his personal disciple. Admired for her silent resolve, the girl rejected every suitor. �𝒔𝒂𝒔 cursed her foolish, stubborn pride. Suddenly, a voice snapped through the air. "You! Why are you spying on the Heaven and Earth sect?" A young disciple stood his ground, shouting fiercely. "Halt! Are you a spy lurking in the shadows?" The boy's wooden sword was of masterwork quality, marking him as the sect's most precious, pampered student. The brat kept barking. �𝒔𝒂𝒔's lips curled into a sinister, monster-like grin. Finally, a little amusement. The boy recoiled in terror. "I'm here to kidnap you," �𝒔𝒂𝒔 whispered with bone-chilling, lethal intent. As the boy gasped, �𝒔𝒂𝒔 struck. The monster's blade danced, testing the disciple's fragile life. �𝒔𝒂𝒔's wicked laugh made the boy tremble. He stuttered in fear, calling the intruder a disrespectful villain. "I am indeed a brutal villain," �𝒔𝒂𝒔 sneered. "I was looking for someone to kidnap, and you appeared. Isn't this destiny?" The boy gasped in fear as the monster's blade swung with crushing, absolute power. His technique wasn't bad. For a split second, the disciple's strike actually reached the vice sect leader. The boy cheered, thinking he won. But Jingyang smirked, mocking him before the blade could even bite. With a lightning strike, he sealed the boy's acupoints. "Too bad. You're paralyzed. Don't even try moving." The kid stuttered, calling him a coward. But in a deathmatch, cowardice simply doesn't exist. His foundation was solid, but after 24 moves, his secrets were exposed. A true amateur's mistake. His master must be formidable. But these heaven-earth techniques? Pathetic. "How shall I deal with you?" Terror gripped the boy. Tears flowed as he trembled, his face turning a ghostly shade of white. Elsewhere, a butcher hacked meat with savage force, grumbling about how tough the damn beast was. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 sat smugly, arms crossed. "Eat your fill, or I will never release your frozen pressure points. Don't resist. Even 100 brats like you couldn't break my seal. Just swallow it down." Seated across, the boy's fists shook with pure fury. His eyes burned with intense, bitter resentment. "I hate soggy rice," the boy grumbled. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 just leaned in, wearing a truly devilish, wicked grin. Twirling a spoon, 𝒔𝒂𝒔 teased, "Don't like it? Well, you can always go eat that instead." He pointed to a filthy, fly-ridden cow grazing nearby. The beast stared back with a dull expression. Suddenly, the cow dropped a massive pile. Flies swarmed as 𝒔𝒂𝒔 looked away, acting totally innocent. Disgust washed over the boy. He gagged, covering his mouth as his face went completely pale. "You're despicable," the boy yelled, trembling. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 just threw his head back and roared with laughter. "Is that all?" 𝒔𝒂𝒔 boasted, arms crossed. "Say it louder. Tell the world how truly mean I am." Defeated and sobbing, the boy began shoveling food into his mouth, his tears mixing with the broth. "Fine. I'm eating." He slammed the bowl down. "I'm finished. Now I am getting out of here." "I'm having fun, aren't you?" 𝒔𝒂𝒔 asked. The boy stopped, his blood boiling at the man's arrogance. Spinning around, he screamed with everything he had. "You're a disgusting, evil, low-life villain." Hien chuckled, bidding the youth farewell before his own journey continued into the unknown. A cryptic smile played on his lips as he whispered, "Time to start the real work. Things are getting interesting." Suddenly, a voice echoed outside the Heaven-Earth sect. The night watch was finally coming to a quiet end. The guard sighed, leaning wearily on his spear. Finally, the shift change is here, he muttered, exhausted. His companion let out a massive, bone-tired yawn. Suddenly, a strange sound made them both freeze in terror. Their faces twisted into masks of pure, helpless confusion. Standing there was a wizened man with shattered, broken teeth. "Is this the Heaven-Earth sect?" the stranger croaked. Behind him sat a grim group of riders on horseback. "Inform your leader that I have business with him." The guards stood paralyzed, unable to process the sudden arrival. How did they get so close without a single sound? They felt no presence until the riders were right there. One guard scrambled back, his heart hammering against his ribs. "God help us! Quickly, report this to the sect leader." "No need for that." A thunderous voice boomed from behind. It was Zhen Yang, the formidable leader of the sect. Dark, murderous energy swirled around him like a storm. His eyes flared with a lethal, burning light of recognition. "I sensed a foul, predatory aura approaching my gates. That is why I have come to meet you. Take your filthy energy and begone." The old man's eyes turned blood-red as he gripped the reins. "Would you truly ignore the lives of your 300 disciples? Their heads will roll if you refuse us, leader." Zhen Yang's heart sank as the threat hit home. He had to choose between his pride and his people. "You dare come here to threaten me?" he hissed. His aura exploded in a terrifying display of pure rage. "Lord Leader, please, calm your spirit for a moment." Yinhui stepped forward, her voice smooth and calculated. She bowed with elegant grace, her eyes closed peacefully. "The Heavenly Demon Cult is here to negotiate, not kill. We seek a mutual agreement with the Heaven-Earth sect. Will you hear us out before making a move?" "Negotiate?" Zhen Yang thought, his mind racing in shock. He was trapped by the hostages, forced to play along. Gritting his teeth, he suppressed his mounting fury. "Fine. The representative may enter. The rest stay outside." Yin Hui smiled, placing a hand over her heart politely. "We appreciate your wisdom, great sect leader." Inside, the air was thick enough to choke a man. Long Tianich felt an icy shiver of pure dread. "This doesn't make sense," the advisor thought, sweating. "The demon cult is never this respectful. What's the catch?" He watched the man with skeletal, blackened hands remove his hat. Those hands, they belonged to a legendary killer. That's 𝒂𝒏, the 13th ranked monster of the blood prison. A high-ranking demon was sitting right before them. He then turned his gaze toward the woman, Yin Hui. Her skin was as pale and flawless as white jade. The iron-hearted beauty herself is here, he realized. Her presence alone was enough to crush a man's soul. Just these two could wipe this entire sect away. Why would they bring an entire army for a talk? Long Tianich bowed, his voice trembling with suppressed fear. "Are you the great 𝒂𝒏 of the blood prison?" 𝒂𝒏 looked up, his eyes cold and soul-piercing. "You already know who I am. Why ask such nonsense? It's just a man of your stature visiting our humble sect. I can hardly believe my own eyes, Great One." 𝒂𝒏 chuckled, a sound like grinding stones. "Someone far more noble than I is in this room." Long Tianich's heart nearly stopped beating at those words. Higher than the 13th rank? That was impossible. Could it be the brain of the cult, Huan Vo Tuong? Or perhaps one of the legendary Great Elders? He glanced at the boy, Hang, who was munching on cake. He looked completely ordinary, almost out of place. "I sense no demonic energy. Yet he sits with them? Is he a hidden monster? Or a secret weapon?" Hang chewed slowly, looking thoroughly unimpressed by the food. "What kind of cheap snack is this?" he muttered. Yin Hui placed a formal scroll onto the table. "We offer a non-aggression pact between our two great powers." Zhen Yang stared at the scroll, then at his advisor. "A peace treaty? From the Heavenly Demon Cult?" "It's a trap, my lord," Long Tianich whispered urgently. "They want to tighten the noose around our necks." Zhen Yang hesitated, his fingers trembling near the paper. The fear of the cult's shadow loomed over him. Suddenly, a chilling white mist flooded the entire room. The advisor let out a sharp, strangled cry of terror. Yin Hui's eyes glowed with a murderous, blood-red light. "This contract is a matter for the sect leader alone. A mere advisor should learn to keep his mouth shut." She warned him, her killing intent freezing the air. Jin Yang's eyes trembled as he pored over the treaty, his heart heavy with a growing sense of dread. "Sign this," 𝒂𝒏 whispered, "and your captured warriors shall finally return to their homes in peace." The scroll dictated an absolute truce between the Heavenly Demon Cult and the righteous Heavenly Earth sect. Bound by law, The cult promised never to cross into the sect's sacred and sovereign territory. Any unavoidable breach required a full month's notice, a measure to prevent any sudden sparks of war. Yet, the sect remained free to strike the cult without warning, a glaring hole in the agreement's armor. The cult could defend itself, but a direct counterattack against the Heavenly Earth sect was strictly forbidden. Should the cult face other enemies, the sect was under no obligation to draw steel in their defense. But if the cult begged for aid, the sect had to help or justify their cold refusal immediately. Jin Yang finished reading, his mind racing. Why were there 4 such blatant, one-sided exceptions in this pact? Are these conditions not a heavy burden for the heavenly demon cult? He asked, his voice shaking. 𝒂𝒂 remained stone-faced. Our great leader has already blessed this. Do not doubt our word, sect leader. We trust you, Jin Yang, she added coldly. But we cannot trust the blood that follows in your footsteps. Once we settle this, your men must never again raid our secret strongholds. Do we have a deal? Jin Yang nodded slowly. I seek no more blood. I will not strike your shadows again, I swear. His fist clenched as he remembered. We mistook your hidden fortress for a common den of mountain bandits. My students vanished there. Only 3 returned, their spirits shattered by the horrors they saw in that dark pit. They told me everything. This war was a tragic mistake born of shadows. You see the truth now, right? 𝒂𝒂 sighed. We wish for an end to this cycle of death. Let there be no more conflict. Her gaze turned lethal. But if you refuse, we will have no choice but to erase your entire sect. Anger flared in Jin Yang's eyes. Suddenly, a cheerful, carefree voice echoed through the garden's quiet air. You'll keep your word about the prisoners, right? Hang asked. I stake my very title on it, old man. Jin Yang stared at the youth in shock. Who was this boy who lacked even a trace of demonic aura? Is he a master? I feel nothing. Very well, Jin Yang exhaled. I accept these terms for my people. The elder beamed at Hang. Success at last. My congratulations to you, vice leader Hai Hang of the cult. Hang gave a lazy nod. Naturally. Senseless fighting is a waste of time for a monster like me anyway. Jin Yang froze in pure terror. Vice leader? This child is the second in command of the great heavenly demon? The ruler of 10,000 demons and 20,000 elites had walked into his home like a commoner? Cold sweat drenched his robes. The reality of the situation defied every law of the martial world he knew. If he is truly the vice leader, his power must have reached the pinnacle of the supreme demon realm. I must warn the alliance. But Hai Hang stood up, his eyes locking onto a nearby bush with predatory focus. Hey, little brat, Hang teased. I know you're hiding there. Come out and I'll get you a treat. Jin Yang's heart stopped. Hidden in the leaves, his young grandson trembled, his secret hiding spot finally exposed. The boy gripped his sword, his face twisted in rage. I won't fall for your dirty tricks again, monster. Hai Hang hummed a dark melody, closing the distance with a speed that blurred the very air around him. Stop! Jin Yang cried out, his face turning a sickly purple. What are you doing? Stay back, child. The boy glared at Hang with defiance. My grandfather is a hero. He'll kill you for what you've done. Jin Yang panicked. You little fool. Shut your mouth and stay still if you want to live today. Like a ghost, Hai Hang appeared behind the boy, his hand landing heavily on the child's trembling shoulder. When exactly is he going to kill me? Hang whispered. The boy's scream pierced the garden like a blade. Just say, Grandpa, I was wrong, Hang chuckled. Say it, and maybe I'll let you crawl away. He hoisted the boy up effortlessly. Let go of me, the child roared. Hang's smile turned truly demonic. Fine. Let's see how loud you can really scream. He pressed his palm against the boy's spine. The boy coughed a spray of crimson as his veins turned black. Stop. He's just a child, Jin Yang yelled. The sect leader lunged forward in desperation. But 𝒂𝒂's hand blocked his path with iron strength. She smiled softly. Stay still for a moment. Suddenly, a figure manifested behind 𝒂𝒂𝒔𝒔𝒊𝒏, radiating pure menace. I suggest you remain seated. The voice chilled his blood. Fear gripped him. When did he get there? With a look of disdain, he sneered. Scream, brat. I'll shatter every bone in your body this time. Despicable monster, the boy hissed. Hai Hang's laughter erupted a wild, chilling sound that echoed through the hall. Chan Duang's face flushed with fury. Is this your treaty? To torture an innocent child like this? His veins bulged as his rage peaked. How can you be so heartless? This is completely inhuman. I cannot stand by, he roared. What kind of sect leader am I if I can't protect my grandson? Desperation leaked into his voice. How long will you torment him? 2 agonizing hours have already passed. 𝒂𝒔𝒂𝒔𝒊𝒏 closed her eyes. Calm. Patience, sect leader. The process is almost complete. Just wait. In the courtyard, 𝒔𝒔𝒂𝒔's hand pressed the boy's shoulder. Hold on. Guide your chi. Follow the flow. The boy gritted his teeth, gasping. Chan Duong watched, trembling. Is he truly torturing my precious grandson? Listen closely. 𝒔𝒔𝒂𝒔 smiled. This is the great void heart method. It purges all inner corruption. It builds an impenetrable wall against demonic influence and skyrockets your internal reserves. Real power is coming. Chan Duong sighed, his heart heavy with doubt. What on earth is he doing to that child? 𝒂𝒔𝒂𝒔 smiled. The vice leader is performing a miracle. He is reshaping your grandson's very martial foundation. It's called bone reconstruction, a divine technique that grants a body capable of dominating any monster. The pain is beyond human endurance. If he screams or if we interfere, everything will be lost forever. That is why I stopped you. Look. Suddenly, the boy's fists began to glow with ethereal light. My gift to you, 𝒔𝒔𝒂𝒔 whispered, to commemorate our alliance. Don't waste this legendary opportunity, kid. Become a true master, not some mediocre fraud. The boy stared, completely stunned and gasping for air. 𝒔𝒔𝒂𝒔 turned away with a devilish smirk. Our business here is done. Take your time getting home. Chan Duong stood frozen in shock. What? What just happened? He stammered, unable to process the miracle. The vice leader took a liking to him, 𝒂𝒔𝒂𝒔 explained. No other disciple has received this honor. Congratulations. Your grandson has achieved the impossible. We shall release your disciples as promised. We bid farewell. In a flash of magic, 𝒂𝒔𝒂𝒔 vanished toward 𝒔𝒔𝒂𝒔. Chan Duong stood there, utterly shell-shocked. Long Thien Ich muttered, They say 𝒂𝒔𝒂𝒔 is a cruel demon, but rumors are often lies. The heavenly demon cult is far more complex than the stories say, he realized, watching them depart. What did you tell him? 𝒔𝒔𝒂𝒔 asked. 𝒂𝒔𝒂𝒔 just gave a cryptic smile. That's a secret. As the caravan moved through the forest, 𝒔𝒔𝒂𝒔 suddenly halted. You all head back to headquarters first. 𝒂𝒔𝒂𝒔 blinked. Where are you going? The leader ordered your immediate return to reflect on your actions. Are you looking for more trouble? She sighed. 𝒔𝒔𝒂𝒔 looked back. I have unfinished business to settle. My cook. Take the others and go, he commanded. As you wish, they shouted in perfect unison. 𝒔𝒔𝒂𝒔 turned to the warden. I'll be borrowing manager 𝒍𝒂𝒏 Nyokbok for a while, if you don't mind. Excuse me? The warden gasped. Before she could react, 𝒔𝒔𝒂𝒔 snatched 𝒂𝒔𝒂𝒔 from her horse. He tossed her over his shoulder. She's coming with me. For company, and maybe some music lessons. Tell the leader I'll be back soon. With a roar, his horse galloped away into the dark forest. Vice leader! Wait! The manager cried out in confusion, left behind in a massive cloud of dust. He sighed, rubbing his forehead. Kids these days are out of control. Let's head back to the cult. Slumped over his shoulder, 𝒂𝒔𝒂𝒔 pouted. Really, my lord? What is so important that we're doing this? 𝒔𝒔𝒂𝒔 chuckled darkly. Nothing major. Just a little debt collection at the martial arts hall. His expression shifted to pure bloodlust. Those fools actually dared to put a bounty on my head. But 40 taels? Do they think my life is that cheap? They've insulted the wrong monster today. 𝒂𝒔𝒂𝒔's eyes widened. So, you're planning to wipe them out over a low bounty? Is that nothing special? No need for a team, 𝒔𝒔𝒂𝒔 smirked, his eyes glowing with deadly intent. I'm more than enough. Elsewhere, at a distant sect, a disciple bowed low. Sect leader, the urgent documents have finally arrived. The sect master smiled warmly while writing. You've worked hard. Go rest. Suddenly, a thunderous explosion rocked the temple. The heavy doors shattered into splinters as debris rained down. Both men froze, staring into the swirling cloud of dust. Intruder! A voice screamed. To arms! Through the smoke, a lone figure emerged. It was the monster himself, 𝒂𝒔𝒂𝒔. His eyes glowed with a murderous crimson light, his blade humming with lethal energy. Sect master, I've come to collect your debt. A guard drew his steel, trembling with fury. You bastard! His companion unsheathed his sword, face contorted in a sneer. Where do you think you are? Die! Suddenly, a flash of red severed the silence. A spray of blood painted the floor. A cry of agony erupted. A young disciple rushed to support the sect master, who had collapsed in utter shock. "Master, stay with us!" The sect master stammered, his voice shaking. Who are you? Why seek my life?" Hyang let out a chilling, mocking laugh. "Forgotten me already? After you placed such a massive bounty on my head?" The master's face went pale. The bounty? Then realization struck like lightning. The sword devil. The one who slaughtered the 5 heroes. Hyang stood cloaked in a terrifying black aura, his eyes burning like hellfire. The sect master felt his soul begin to wither. He defeated the Sword King, the master thought. How dare you point your blade at a master of the way? A massive warrior lunged at Hyang with a devastating strike, but the youth vanished, reappearing effortlessly behind the attacker. The warrior spun around, eyes wide with disbelief. Hyang moved like a ghost, his body radiating a sinister dark mist. "Impressive speed," Hyang teased. The vice master rushed to the leader's side. "Master, are you all right? You demonic brat! I am the vice master of the Golden Dragon." The sect master rose slowly, nodding his thanks as Hyang watched. "I have no quarrel with your house," Hyang said coldly. "Move aside. I don't wish to destroy the Golden Dragon sect." The vice master exploded in rage. Arrogant whelp. He channeled his full spiritual power into his twin moon daggers. He leaped into the air, striking with blinding speed. But Hyang was faster. A single, invisible flash of steel cut him down. The vice master coughed up blood, staring at his wound in pure shock. Hyang looked down, his expression bored and cold. "Is that the extent of your power? With such mediocre strength, you can't even protect yourself, let alone your master." The sect master's heart sank. "Is that spirit sword kinesis? No, it's impossible. He has already reached the fire realm. Resistance was futile." The vice master choked out, "Master, we must flee. This monster is beyond our reach." The sect master signaled a retreat. Hyang stepped forward. "Your turn. Why is your sword still in its sheath?" The master laughed bitterly. "Even the great Sword King fell before you. What chance does a man like me have?" He turned to his disciples, shouting, "Hear me. Regard me as nothing but dust. Forget me. Never seek revenge for this." "You saw what happened to the Sword King's followers," the master continued, his voice heavy with the weight of destiny. "I ask only one thing. Take my head if you must, but spare my disciples. They are innocent in this conflict." Hyang gripped his hilt, his eyes darkening with a strange solemnity. He sighed, slowly sheathing his blade back into its scabbard. "Killing a man who accepts his fate is far too troublesome," Hyang muttered, turning his back on the confused master. "You're leaving?" The master gasped. Hyang walked away. "Our business is done. My next stop is the Taichan sect." The master reached out desperately. "Wait. I apologize on behalf of Tai-chan. I will personally cancel every bounty on you." Hyang stopped in his tracks. The atmosphere grew heavy as the master waited, sweat dripping down his terrified face. Hyang glanced back, his voice like ice. "Since you've pleaded for them, I'll spare them for now." Then, he vanished instantly. Only a lingering black mist remained. The sect master collapsed, gasping for air as the crushing pressure finally lifted. "I'm alive?" he whispered. The vice master crawled over. "Master, who was that monster? What did you do to him?" The master exhaled, his eyes wide with awe. "Today, fate smiled upon us. I have witnessed the legendary spirit sword art." He looked at the horizon. "Remember him. He is the second master in history to reach the manifestation realm." Walking through the forest, Hyang mused. "The Heaven and Earth sect leader will be furious that I freed the prisoners. I'll be punished for causing this chaos," he thought. "But first, I must retreat to the pine forest for true cultivation." His goal was simple: sharpen his focus by counting every single needle on the trees. Hyang landed gracefully in the woods. He looked at the vast greenery and smiled. 3,000 pine trees. I will count every leaf before the time comes. "The day of reckoning is approaching," he whispered. Suddenly, the scene shifted to a dark, hidden palace chamber. "Please, show me the demon-subduing art," a voice pleaded. The Black Demon Emperor sighed, rubbing his forehead in annoyance. "The subduing art is for the sect leader's eyes only," he rumbled. "You know the price for such forbidden knowledge." "You lack the authority," the Emperor declared. Hyang bowed, seeking a legendary favor. The emperor glared. You are already peerless. Why do you still crave such power? Hyang hesitated. For a true martial artist, nothing in this world is guaranteed. He looked up with steel in his eyes. I seek the ultimate Dharma realm. The emperor pondered. I see. But aren't you currently repenting for your sins? Only the sect leader or the one who kills me may view this scripture. Hyang bowed low. Suddenly, a devastating dark aura erupted from his trembling frame. Then I have no other choice, he muttered. The torches flickered under his pressure. Sensing the killing intent, the emperor sighed. Your temper is truly as volatile as ever. Would you really strike me down? You are a monster obsessed with the path. Very well. Since it concerns martial arts, I know you'll risk everything for it. I'll grant this favor. You may read it privately, but keep the contents secret. Hyang bowed deeply. I am humbled by your divine mercy, great sect leader. Visit the pavilion tomorrow. Later, inside the shadows of the Hanyung Library, Hyang stared at the scroll. The demon subjugating divine art. Finally in my hands. I've mastered the ancient script. From now on, I shall walk toward the light. He studied the records of the drunken swordmaster, the one who reached transcendence. This script is complex, but my iron will shall conquer these divine techniques. Flipping the pages, he searched for the life and death secret to reach godhood. Combining this art with my enlightenment will make me an invincible monster of war. The next morning, the emperor frowned. So you've finally arrived, vice sect leader. A crisis erupted in Sichuan. The Tang clan and our followers are clashing. A minor spat became a bloodbath. Neither side is willing to back down now. Even our strongest masters and the 5 great families have failed to stop it. The Murim alliance is watching. One wrong move will spark a total war. Your mission is done. Now, resolve this situation without spilling a drop of blood. Hyang questioned him. But I'm supposed to be in isolation, reflecting on my crimes. The emperor rubbed his head. Forget that. I granted your wish. Now fulfill mine. Hyang smirked. Is there truly no one else better suited for this mission? What about Elder Hoin? The emperor snapped. Only you can handle these fools. If talks fail, you must decapitate their leaders before a full-scale war begins. Hyang sighed. I suppose only a monster like me can finish this task. Take the Asura squad. Later that afternoon, Hyang stood before his elite disciples. Move out, he ordered. They roared in unison as he scanned the distant horizon. Dongbang, take the squad to the secret camp and wait for my command. As you wish, the warrior replied. Hyang ordered them to depart immediately. They vanished like shadows. Finally, Hyang whispered, stretching his arms in the quiet. No more annoying subordinates. I'll take the scenic route and enjoy the journey. Riding through the sun-drenched forest, Hyang suddenly pulled his horse to a halt. An inn out here? I should grab a meal before I continue on. He stepped inside, but the lively atmosphere died instantly. Something was very wrong. A chilling silence filled the room. Every patron stared at him with cold eyes. Only the women kept eating. The owner rushed over, his face pale with fear. My lord, we're out of food. Please, find another place to eat today. Hyang's eyes narrowed dangerously. Plenty of seats, yet you kick me out? How rude. The shopkeeper frantically waved him away. But a bald thug suddenly roared. Didn't you hear him? Get lost! The thug's killing intent flared, his eyes locked onto our protagonist with murderous rage. You brat! Think those swords make you a warrior? He sneered. Leave now before I break your bones. Scram or crawl out of here. Huyang calmly put his hands back. And if I refuse to leave, then I'll grant your death wish. The thug lunged with a massive fist, while Huyang just smirked. Asterisk boom. Asterisk. A single strike sent the thug flying through the door, leaving the red-haired girl wide-eyed. The tavern fell silent as a sinister black aura erupted from Huyang. Fear gripped every witness present. I just wanted a quiet meal, he sighed. Infuriated, the red-haired girl barked. Kill that brat! Now! As the lackeys charged, Huyang muttered. A little girl like you is the great elder? Then, a demonic grin crossed his face. Let's play for a bit. He vanished, moving like a phantom. He's too fast. Before they could blink, Huyang's blade was at the girl's throat. Speak politely next time. Everyone, sit back down. His voice carried the weight of a god, freezing them all in place. Shaking, she stared at his weapon. That blade, It's extraordinary. He smiled. It's the black soul blade. Usually, I use it for carving meat, but this works too. She hissed. Touch me, and you're dead. Assassins? Are you going to send them after me? He teased. She glared. It's too late for regrets. Regret is for the weak. Before she could finish, Huiyang shoved a mysterious pill into her mouth. Her body surged with heat. What? What did you give me? She gasped, stumbling back in shock. The heavenly bliss pill. He grinned. To cure the poison, you just need a night with a man. The surrounding men turned red while Huiyang chuckled. I'll be taking my leave while you're occupied. In a flash, he appeared behind the purple-haired girl. I need a traveling companion. You'll do nicely. A scream echoed as Huiyang vanished. Follow me, and I'll destroy this child's cultivation. Choose wisely. He's gone. The girl stuttered, her eyes darting around frantically. Find him. Don't let him escape. Huiyang's voice echoed from the distance. Thanks for the treat. Until we meet again, Great Elder. Useless fools. Catch him. She roared in fury while Huiyang rode off into the deep forest. Beneath the silent trees, he finally looked at his hostage. So, little bird, what's your name? She glared at him. Why should I tell you? Huiyang pulled out a spirit dan. Want a snack? Instantly tamed, she mumbled. My name is Ngo Lin. He chuckled. Lin? An interesting name. Born on a drizzly day, I assume? She nodded. Yes, that's why my parents chose it. You're nothing like your sister, 𝒔𝒂𝒚. She's quite the monster, Huiyang remarked. She's just strong. Lin defended while peeling a potato. No man has ever managed to defeat her. Huiyang sighed at her innocence. Those men didn't lose. They just didn't want to hurt their future wife. Your sister isn't as legendary as you think, he then asked. How old are the two of you? Lin revealed she was 25, while her fearsome sister was already 38. A significant gap indeed. We're getting along well. Stay obedient, and I'll treat you right. Want to keep talking? Lin sighed deeply. You kidnapped me first, then asked to talk? I have no choice but to follow. Where are we going? She asked. Huiyang smirked. To visit an old friend of mine. She flinched. Are you going to dump me there? He looked at her. Well, that's what I'm considering. Since her sister's skills were lacking, the conversation shifted toward more personal, revealing details. Ngo Lin was 25, while her sister was 38. Tension filled their brief, sharp exchange. We understand each other now. Cooperate, and I shall ensure your safety on this road. Ngo Lin remained unfazed by the threat, offering only a weary sigh to her captor. You kidnapped me first. Why ask now? I have no hope of escaping a master. She asked of their destination. Heian planned a visit to an old friend's hidden estate. Ngo Lin grew wary. Do you intend to abandon me at your friend's house alone? Heian admitted his confusion, seeking the girl's sharp wit to resolve his growing inner dilemma. Heian began recounting the tale. A wealthy friend was locked in a bitter feud with a powerful local tycoon. Tensions boiled over in the neighborhood. What started as servant brawls soon escalated into a full-blown war between masters. Mediate the peace, his friend begged. Now, Heian was en route to settle the score amidst the rising chaos. His eyes burned with murderous intent. Why not just kidnap them all? Heian's dark suggestion sent chills through the air. Ngo Lin gasped in horror. That's a recipe for disaster. Desperate to prevent a bloodbath, she offered her help. Let them exchange compensation to save face, she proposed. But Heian's cold gaze remained unmoved as he rejected the idea. Not a bad plan, but my personality doesn't fit negotiation. He lacked the patience for diplomatic games. Suddenly, a wicked spark lit his eyes. You do it instead. He decided to push the responsibility onto her. You've got a silver tongue, he smirked. An outsider's perspective is exactly what this objective mediation needs. Ngo Lin hesitated, pouting with uncertainty. I'm a complete stranger here. By what authority could I possibly intervene? Just say you're my representative, he countered. If anyone gives you trouble, I'll personally drag them out and crush them. Her anxiety began to fade. A small smile played on her lips. Fine. I'll do it. I'm in this with you now, she agreed. But in return, I have one favor that you must grant me. She clasped her hands with deep respect. Meeting a master like you is rare. Please, teach me your martial arts. What a pain, Heian sighed, annoyed. Ngok Lin snapped back instantly. You promised to be a good companion. I accepted your request without hesitation. It's only fair that you honor mine as my sworn comrade. Beside the flickering campfire, he finally relented. Fine, I'll teach you. But Hyang's eyes gleamed with a new condition. You must teach me your techniques too. An even exchange for both sides. Ngok Lin stood frozen in pure shock. It was the dead of night. The wind shrieked through the trees like a banshee. Yet neither of them could sleep. Following their pact, she demonstrated her basics. Hyang watched intently as her blade cut through the midnight air. Impressive talent, he muttered under his breath. He recognized the style immediately. It was the enemy-dropping flowless sword. Her movements were fluid, like water. Every strike revealed years of grueling training and absolute mastery of the basics. She finished the forms, breathless and eager. Well, what do you think? She looked at him with sparkling eyes. Smooth and clever, Hyang admitted coldly. You've hidden the flaws in the modified forms well. His critique was sharp as steel. But this style is just a cheap imitation. Stolen and butchered from the original 𝒔𝒂𝒚 Luong art. Ngok Lin's face flushed with anger. Nonsense. My grandfather created this. He spent his life attaining this enlightenment. Hyang's lips curled into a mocking smirk. Stop talking nonsense and just watch. I'll show you the true essence of the blade. He began to move, mirroring her exact forms. But there was a terrifying difference. A raw, overwhelming power surged from his body. His fluidity and destructive force were leagues above hers. Ngok Lin watched in disbelief. How? How is this possible? The sword chi was similar, yet vastly superior. I can manifest the energy, she thought. But I can't reach that level of devastation. Doubts began to cloud her mind. Did grandfather really steal this art? Hyang finished and stared her down. Now, do you see the truth? He questioned. Your moves are fancy, yes. But mine are built for true slaughter. I use 400 forms, she argued desperately. You only used 144. Quantity must mean superiority, right? Hyang sighed at her ignorance. A thick branch yields more fruit than many leaves. He looked at her with pitying eyes. Power isn't found in the number of moves. I showed you the truth, yet you still lie? I've lost the mood to teach you. His cold dismissal stung her pride. The truth is right before your eyes. He turned away, ending the lesson abruptly. Ngok Lin hung her head in regret. I admit it. You're right. Please, don't leave me behind. Teach me. Promise me one thing, Hyang demanded. Swear you will never reveal this truth to anyone. She swore a blood oath to the heavens. Good. We depart for Sichuan immediately. Ngok Lin's eyes nearly popped out. Wait, did you say Sichuan? Is your destination really the land of poisons? Hyang just smirked at her shock. Why so surprised? Let's move. Onward they rode toward the horizon. Are you heading to the Tang clan? She asked. Sent by the Martial Arts Alliance? Hyang chuckled at her wild guess. What makes you think the Alliance would have anything to do with me? Your techniques belong to the orthodox sects, she noted. Hyang remained mysterious. You'll find out soon enough. Prepare yourself. They finally arrived at a massive estate. We've arrived. Hyang's voice echoed. Is anyone home to greet us? Ngok Lin's blood ran cold. She recognized this place. The Chi Luong Association. The epicenter of the conflict. A bloody clash with the Tang clan? Wait. Something's not right here. A figure emerges from the dark abyss. Welcome back, Vice Cult Leader. The blindfolded guard spots the girl. My lord, who is this lady? Reality hits her like a hammer. He's a monster from the demonic cult. She's a legend's granddaughter, he says. Call her Lady Thiet for now. Alone, her fear turns into fury. You kidnapped me for leverage, didn't you? You're the enemy of my people. What do you really want with me? He shrugs with cold indifference. I had no idea you were someone important. You'll use me to force a truce. She stares at him with trembling eyes. If it ends peacefully, so be it. We don't want this war either. And if the deal fails, she asks. Dread begins to consume her heart. Then my elite squads will erase everything. His voice is like a death sentence. She remembers her grandfather's terrifying warnings. The 5 legendary wings of the cult. Secret units whispered to be myths. The Shura Squad and the Bloodblades. Those monsters never appeared in history. He pours tea with a chilling smile. They've appeared many times, little girl. They just leave no survivors to tell. Even the world's best spies knew nothing? How could they miss such devastation? His voice turns hauntingly dark. Dead men can't spread rumors, can they? If diplomacy fails, I'll take their heads. Then my squads will sweep the graves. I alone am enough to end this. That's why the leader chose me. This man is a walking natural disaster. 𝒔𝒂𝒃 realizes she's facing a god. Anyone else would be bluffing. But she has seen his demonic power. I must prevent this massacre, she thinks. I'll do whatever it takes for peace. The next morning, the delegation arrives. The atmosphere is thick with killing intent. No weapons allowed inside. The guards bark. Hand over your blades, immediately! He orders his men to wait outside. Only he and the girl will enter. With a bang, the heavy doors open. The lion enters the serpent's den, familiar faces full of burning hatred. It's been a long time, you brat. 𝒔𝒂𝒃 glares with murderous rage. She wants to tear him limb from limb. You tricked me with that bitter medicine. Today, I'll see you dead at last. His patience finally hits its limit. Forget the truce. Let's just kill them. His energy explodes, shaking the room. Don't blame me for your tragic end. The enemies freeze under his crushing aura. Only 𝒔𝒂𝒃 dares to step forward. Stop! Please don't do this, she begs. We can solve this without blood. She desperately tries to calm the storm. You brought me to mediate, so trust me. The enemy leader senses certain death. He quickly pulls his daughter back. Forgive her rudeness, great hero. Let us speak like men of honor. He retracts his power, leaving them breathless. One more threat, and you all die. They sit for tea, masking the tension. A dangerous game of chess begins. The Tang clan master introduces himself. Duong Chan Tien, a man of pride. I am 𝒔𝒂𝒃, the vice cult leader. The revelation sends shockwaves through the hall. 𝒔𝒂𝒃 will represent my side today. The enemies gasp at her presence. The granddaughter of the alliance leader? Why is she helping the demonic cult? Will you accept her terms? He asks. His eyes pierce their very souls. He confirms she speaks with his voice. Now, the true battle of wits starts, negotiating with the heavenly demon. He knows pride blinds the 𝒔𝒔𝒃 and Tang clan. Tension rises. They hope for peace. But Jin Tian's stubbornness blocks the path. They demand massive compensation. Hyang's cold voice interrupts their greedy calculations. Manhwa's fury explodes. But Jin Tian calmly declares that only total war remains. 40 top masters and 100 orthodox warriors are closing in on us. 3 more sects have pledged support. Hyang asks for their names with chilling calm. Why do you ask? They snap. 𝒔𝒂𝒃 reveals vice leader 𝒔𝒂𝒃 is here. Their arrogance vanishes instantly. The presence of the Shura team changes everything. Watch your words, Hyang warns. The cult seeks peace, not a bloodbath. If talks fail, the heavenly demon will order the Shura squad to purge everyone. Manhwa mocks them, thinking the Tang clan's lineage is enough to stop the demons. 𝒔𝒂𝒃 clarifies. If this fails, �𝒂𝒃 will personally execute everyone present. Once the head is gone, the Shura team will hunt every last soul. Childish talk, she sneers. But Hyang's gaze suggests a much darker reality. You clearly don't know who I am, he says, revealing his terrifying authority. Within 2 rods of the leader, only he is allowed to carry steel. He reaches out, and a distant blade flies into his hand like lightning. With sword in hand, he offers one choice: humble reconciliation or death. Jin Tian trembles, realizing this isn't just a threat, it's an inevitable fate. 𝒔𝒂𝒃 reveals a secret box, a final offering from the heavenly demon cult. 3 legendary manuals and 2,000 silver to settle all past grievances. In return, they must pay 1,000 silver to restore the association's honor. Hyang sends the others away, leaving the room heavy with the scent of death. 𝒔𝒂𝒃 asks if he'd truly slaughter them. He remains silent as a grave. Then I'll stay and fight you, she declares, unwilling to watch the massacre. Hyang smirks, summoning yet another sword as if it were a mere toy. Take the first move then, he says, offering her a final, twisted mercy. She takes the blade, wondering if they could have been friends in another life. His dark jokes prove otherwise. Some monsters were never meant to be tamed. Facing the abyss, Jin Tian and Manhwa finally reach their desperate conclusion. Suddenly, a suffocating wave of killing intent erupts, pinning everyone to the floor. With demonic eyes, he demands their answer. The air screams with his power. Jin Tian bows low. surrendering his pride to satisfy the monster's demands. The pressure lifts. A wise choice, Hyang purrs. No more blood needs spilling. 𝒔𝒂𝒂𝒔𝒔𝒊𝒏 collapses, trembling with relief as the Reaper's shadow finally fades. A new, booming voice echoes. The grand negotiation has reached its end. It's the great leader of the Murim alliance, 𝒔𝒔𝒂𝒔𝒔𝒊𝒏, stepping forward. Every master bows to the legend, but Mukyang only watches with curiosity. He wonders why such a powerhouse would bother with this petty squabble. He senses a predator's gaze. 𝒔𝒔𝒂𝒔𝒔 looks like a leopard hunting on high. The true king of the mountain has arrived to face the rising monster. All others fall to their knees in the presence of the alliance leader. Hyang remains standing, sensing the overwhelming power radiating from the old man. A simple dispute has now become a clash between two legendary predators. The atmosphere turns electric as �𝒔𝒂𝒔 fixes his gaze upon the monster. The old leader approached with a deceptive smile, greeting the youth whose legend preceded him. Hyang wondered why a titan would personally oversee such a trifle. But the atmosphere turned chilling. This old fox was full of surprises, revealing his true motive mirrored Hyang's own hidden agenda. The air grew heavy as the leader unleashed a crushing wave of power to intimidate Hyang. After flaunting his dominance, he offered a deal, claiming the crisis was resolved thanks to Hyang. "Join me for a drink," he invited. But Hyang sensed a trap behind those cunning eyes. Dealing with such a manipulative snake was dangerous, and Hyang initially prepared to decline. Yet, for 𝒔𝒂𝒂𝒔𝒊𝒏's sake, he reconsidered and agreed to a single cup before departing. Deep within the underworld palace, they shared a rare, precious liquor reserved for honored guests. The wine was exquisite, far surpassing any tea, yet Hyang felt the weight of the moment. A righteous leader drinking with a demonic vice leader? 𝒔𝒔𝒂𝒔 merely laughed at the irony. After draining his cup, the leader finally voiced the burning question hidden in his heart. "How did it feel to duel the Sword King?" he asked, nearly making Hyang choke. "Relax, I'm not here to judge. I simply want to understand the thrill of your battle." Hyang praised the king's sublime mastery, then dared to ask if �𝒔𝒂𝒃 reached that level. It was a sharp provocation. Hyang skillfully replied that only a true clash could reveal that. Both were peak masters of the righteous faction, yet �𝒔𝒂𝒃's curiosity only grew deeper. He questioned the boundary between realms, wondering if one path forever blocked the other. Hyang realized the old man was paralyzed by overthinking, clouding his own path to enlightenment. He was too focused on the kill, the next move, and countering the enemy's every breath. These useless distractions were the only things preventing his heart and sword from becoming one. The leader claimed he achieved emptiness during his strikes, believing he had already surpassed that peak. "You are merely forcing the blade to obey your ego," Hyang countered with cold, piercing honesty. To Hyang, the sword had no will of its own, demonstrating his point with simple chopsticks. When the soul perfectly aligns with the weapon's true purpose, the world itself begins to bend. The cup shatters. �𝒔𝒂𝒃 is stunned. Sword intent, channeled through mere chopsticks, was an impossible feat. The table remained untouched. Hyang offered a final praise, predicting the leader might one day evolve. Suddenly, a venomous voice interrupted, mocking Hyang for his perceived arrogance and barking nonsense. It was manhwa, unable to endure the outsider's disrespect toward her grandfather any longer. �𝒔𝒂𝒃 scolded her insolence, but Hyang remained calm, knowing words were useless against her. He realized that to silence her doubt, he would have to provide a devastating demonstration. On the dueling stage, manhwa's rage flared as she pointed her blade at his throat. "Stop hiding behind words and draw your steel," she demanded. But Hyang only smirked. A heavenly demon vice leader fighting a child? That would be a disgrace to my name. He proposed a proxy. 𝒔𝒂𝒃 would fight. If she lost, he would offer his head. 𝒔𝒂𝒃 trembled in fear, knowing her sister was a far superior and deadly martial artist. "Don't fear," Hyang whispered via telepathy. "Follow my voice and unleash the secret techniques I taught." This duel would be her baptism, transforming her into a monster that would surpass all expectations. manhwa's face twisted in fury, feeling insulted by having to face such a weakling. "I'll cut you down in a heartbeat." manhwa lunged forward with a blinding, lethal strike. Her sword aimed for a fatal opening, but Hyang's telepathic command echoed in 𝒔𝒂𝒃's mind. "Parry now. Transition to move 4, then execute move 5 without any hesitation." Like a perfectly tuned weapon, 𝒔𝒂𝒃's counters were flawless, intercepting every one of manhwa's strikes. Before manhwa could comprehend her failure, Ngok Lin unleashed the fifth devastating technique. A massive impact sent Manhwa flying. She stared in horror, unable to believe her defeat. Mukyang watched the sisters with a cold smirk. Shocked already? The real slaughter begins now. Manhwa. A sudden chill gripped Manhwa's heart. Why can't I land a hit? Did she evolve this fast? Is Lin truly stronger? Outside, Mukyang watched intently. Lin, after move 6, you must immediately strike with the 10th form. Meanwhile, Manhwa unleashed a relentless barrage, leaving Ngok Lin no room to breathe. Lin obeyed instantly, unleashing the blood sunset flying dragon. Manhwa scrambled to dodge the sudden, explosive aura. Manhwa gasped, her stamina fading fast. Suddenly, Lin launched another secret art. Plum blossoms in the bloody sun. The blood plum strike. Manhwa panicked. Impossible. How can she chain these high-level techniques so flawlessly? She cannot possess this much internal energy. That monster must have transferred his legendary power to her. Mukyang chuckled. That power is hers alone. Then he commanded, now, strike Manhwa head-on. He is right, Tronghak added. Continue the duel. Manhwa grit her teeth in sheer, burning frustration. Lin hesitated, fearing she might kill her sister. But Manhwa was consumed by a blind, vengeful rage. Manhwa vowed to win at any cost. Mukyang's cold voice rang out. Pierce her heart and end this. Lin faltered, overwhelmed by the danger. Seeing her hesitation, a sinister smile crept across Manhwa's face. My chance. Manhwa unleashed the fragrant white plum. A massive explosion rocked the stage, engulfing Ngok Lin in smoke. As the dust cleared, Tronghak gasped. Mukyang had stepped in, shielding Lin. He immediately scolded her. I told you. Never let emotions dull your blade. Forgive me, brother. Tronghak asked. Are you all right? I am fine, Vice Leader, Mukyang replied. This weak sword intent cannot pierce my divine body protection. Chi! Manhwa exhaled in relief. Mukyang's voice echoed. Don't fret. If she wasn't so soft-hearted, she'd have won. But a result is a result. With a respectful bow, Mukyang prepared to depart as shadows grew long. It is late. I must go. Next time, I hope your swordsmanship has actually progressed, Manhwa. Before she could reply, he vanished like a ghost. Tronghak mused. He moves like the wind itself. Old Lin wouldn't have lasted 5 moves. Even following orders, her growth under him is absolutely terrifying. To turn a nameless orthodox disciple into a monster in such short time, he is truly something else. A peerless genius born for battle, yet he lacks the will to rule. What a tragic waste, Vice Leader. Meanwhile, Mukyang met his elite guards. Guard Kyuk stepped forward with a grim report for the Vice Leader. A crisis has occurred, my lord. While we were away, the Dark Heaven sect merged into our cult. Mukyang was stunned. The Dark Heaven sect? Were they forced to submit? No, my lord. They volunteered. Jang In-hyun requested the union. Their combined strength was so great, he was immediately appointed as Vice Leader. Another Vice Leader? Lan asked in confusion. My lord, who exactly is this Dark Heaven sect anyway? They are remnants of the blood cult, Mukyang explained. They raise the dead into mindless Jiangxi soldiers. They use corpses for their secret schemes. Jang In-hyun is a monster who harvests the skills of the dead. He is one of the 4 legendary masters who reached the peak Dharma realm within the cult, but he is a viper who executes anyone who opposes him. I hope things do not get serious. At the Dark Demon Emperor's palace, the guards announced, the Vice Leader has arrived. Mukyang entered solemnly. I've come to pay my respects. Jang In-hyun sat with the leader, smirking. So, you're the other Vice Leader? Meeting the cult's greatest warrior. What an honor. He sneered, his eyes dripping with fake respect. You've worked hard, Mukyang. The Dark Demon Emperor's booming voice finally broke the heavy silence. I was about to summon you. Come, share a drink with our new Vice Leader. Yang In-hyun. Mukyang bowed, declining politely. I am exhausted today. Perhaps another time, my lord. The air turned cold. Both leaders clicked their tongues in displeasure. Jang In-hyun sneered. He's just as arrogant as the rumors say. I told you, the Emperor replied. He's the only one permitted to keep his sword in my presence. So, what's your assessment? The Emperor asked darkly. Is he a threat? Do not worry, my lord. I have a plan. Even the finest stallion is worthless if it refuses to obey its master's reins. If a wild horse won't be tamed, it must be slaughtered. The emperor raised his glass, eyes predatory. Farewell, 𝒔𝒂𝒔. Late that night, 𝒔𝒂𝒔 walked alone through the woods, humming a haunting melody. The rats lurking in the shadows finally recognized their target, 𝒔𝒂𝒔. They waited for a single opening to strike. But before they could move, 𝒔𝒔 materialized behind them. Searching for someone? He mocked, stopping their hearts. You're as blind as bats. 𝒔𝒔 roared, launching a relentless assault without a single second of hesitation. A crushing blow sent the spy to the floor, dead instantly. 𝒔𝒔's eyes blazed with lethal, righteous fury. Walking away, 𝒔𝒔 pondered the ambush. One died instantly, but the other's wounds were already closing unnaturally. A hole in the gut, yet it regenerated like a jiangshi. If these weren't true zombies, then this was Zhang Renji's dark sorcery. Why was that bastard monitoring him? His puppets were dangerously resilient. Unless the head is destroyed, they mend any fatal wound. A terrifying ability for any ordinary warrior. However, 𝒔𝒔 smirked. This immortality is now your curse. You will wish for the sweet release of death. I'll make you scream until every secret is spilled. No matter the pain, you cannot die yet. Screams echoed through the halls. Stop him! Don't let that monster reach the great leader. Save me! The guards cursed in terror as their front lines crumbled. The monster is here. Everyone, get out now. In the dungeon, Manhwa watched the chaos, trembling. Something is happening. Little sister, will you listen now? 𝒔𝒂𝒔 hesitated, her mind racing, until a massive explosion rocked the very foundations of the prison. Manhwa screamed for her sister as the dust settled. Another cry of agony pierced the heavy air. A figure stepped through the smoke. It was 𝒔𝒂𝒔. Are you too injured? He asked, voice steady. Manhwa looked up. What now? 𝒔𝒔 replied. I'm going to slaughter the ones responsible for this. We'll help, they offered. Can I find my weapon first? 𝒔𝒔 paused, realizing they were defenseless. Finding weapons wastes time. Take mine, he said, handing over his prized possessions without a second thought. These are precious to me, so use them well. The sisters accepted the blades, their eyes wide. 𝒔𝒔 turned back with a rare smile. Be careful, 𝒔𝒂𝒔. She bowed, stunned by his sudden kindness. Meanwhile, inside the Black Emperor's chambers, arrogant laughter filled the room. Your brilliance is unmatched, great leader. I only gave the order, the Emperor replied. You were the one who orchestrated this perfect snare. To bring the Martial Alliance leader's granddaughters here so quickly. Truly impressive. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 laughed, pouring wine. We had to act fast, 𝒔𝒂𝒔 sneered. Suddenly, blood-curdling screams erupted from the corridor outside. 𝒔𝒂𝒔's lips curled into a wicked smirk. Finally, the guest of honor has arrived. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 kicked the doors open. Is all this ruckus you're doing? The Emperor asked coldly. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 countered. Apologies for crashing your little party. I just couldn't wait to see your faces. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 spat. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 barked. Get in here, Deputy 𝒔𝒂𝒔. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 slammed a confession on the table. You should have hidden your tracks better, you snake. Your spy talked. This letter details your pathetic alliance against me. I know everything about your scheme to take the alliance. Kidnapping those girls just to seize power? Pathetic. I'm in a very foul mood right now. With a flick of his wrist, 𝒔𝒂𝒔 incinerated the letter. Goodbye, he growled. The Emperor just smiled. Extinguishing the candles, the Emperor taunted. Oh, Deputy 𝒔𝒂𝒔, do you really think you've seen everything? Suddenly, 𝒔𝒂𝒔's senses screamed. Murderous intent? Behind him, 𝒔𝒂𝒔 lunged with a blade drawn. She moved to kill, yet tears streamed down her face. Instinct took over. 𝒔𝒂𝒔's sword flashed, striking her. He caught her falling body, his heart shattering. 𝒔𝒂𝒔, why? Why would you do this? Forgive me, brother 𝒔𝒂𝒔, she sobbed. It was my grandfather's order. I had no choice. Her breath grew shallow. You were so kind to me, yet I betrayed you. Please, forgive my soul. With those final words, 𝒔𝒂𝒔 went cold. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 stood frozen, a statue of pure, agonizing rage. Suddenly, Manhwa lunged from the shadows, plunging a dagger directly into 𝒔𝒂𝒔's heart. Die, you monster. She let out a twisted, euphoric laugh. This is what you deserve, 𝒔𝒂𝒔. Her cackles filled the room. The Emperor watched. Delighted. Exquisite. I must thank the Martial Alliance for such a perfect betrayal. A single pawn was all it took. Look at yourself, 𝒔𝒔𝒂𝒔𝒔. Do you know why you must die? It's because of your arrogance. You swung your blade according to your own will, not your master's. A divine sword that turns on its owner is nothing more than a piece of useless scrap metal. To me, you are nothing but a tool. You only grant power to those who please your whims. You'd even empower our sworn enemies, yet you refuse to obey your own allies. This is the bitter fruit of your arrogance. No one recognizes you as vice leader anymore. The other elders surrounded him at once. Manhwa watched, frozen in absolute shock. Elder Nangfi Joy sneered at the broken man. You've worked hard, Hyang. Now, it's over. A shame I won't kill him myself. Die in peace. Suddenly, Hyang's eyes snapped open as he grabbed Manhwa. He used her as a human shield. Manhwa shrieked in agony as the poison struck her instead. The Dark Emperor cursed in a panicked frenzy. Hyang's killing intent exploded as he roared in fury. The high-ranking elders trembled in fear. How could he still fight with a shattered heart and dantian? His internal energy. It's surging unnaturally. Could that be the forbidden 𝒔𝒔𝒂𝒔𝒊𝒏 demonic art? Don't panic. He's just a walking corpse using a forbidden technique to move his broken bones. He's a moth diving into the flame. Kill him now. Hyang's rage reached a terrifying, soul-crushing peak. I won't let a single one of you live. Then, the night erupted in a series of devastating explosions. They charged at him like starving wolves, only to be slaughtered one by his flickering blade. Hyang tried to strike back, but his body froze. Was Old Man Truong binding his movements from the shadows? Seizing the opening, the elders struck at once. Hyang's screams echoed as Cheon-yi laughed like a maniac. I've waited a lifetime for this moment. Battered and broken, Hyang no longer had the strength to resist. I have to find a way to survive. Suddenly, his eyes fell upon a nearby explosive device. In a flash, a massive explosion rocked the earth. Through the thick smoke, a dazed Hyang struggled to breathe. Vice leader! We have to leave, quickly. It was 𝒔𝒂𝒔, risking everything to save him from the abyss. Thick white smoke choked the entire battlefield. Find 𝒔𝒂𝒔𝒂𝒔. Don't let him escape, the elders roared. We can't see a thing through this haze. The Poison Lord demanded to know who dared to interfere. The smoke is clearing, the Dark Emperor hissed. Who would dare betray the cult to save that man? He hasn't gone far, cult leader Han roared. Spread the net. Catch him at all costs. Trees swayed violently as they fled into the night. 𝒔𝒂𝒔, Hyang muttered, his voice trembling with exhaustion. It's a crisis, sir. I'll explain everything later. Just please, hold on a little longer. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 gritted his teeth in frustration. They promised his granddaughters would be the key to your death. But it seems you failed, Han Trung-kin. A master swordsman suddenly appeared, blocking their only path. 𝒔𝒂𝒔, move! Hyang screamed with his remaining strength. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 gasped he never imagined the old man could be this fast. The forest was shredded by a single, divine strike. They were trapped, facing a legendary master of the Alliance. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 𝒔𝒔𝒂𝒔𝒊𝒏 of the Murim Alliance. 𝒔𝒂𝒔's heart sank as he recognized their formidable opponent. Even his lightest strike carried the weight of a mountain. Ch! Why now? We must vanish into the dark woods. The forest ahead was a swirling, dark abyss. Raging waters and lethal winds blocked their final escape. How? I thought we broke through their formation. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 𝒔𝒔𝒂𝒔 watched them with chilling, calm composure. I led you here myself, the master stated coldly. They had been dancing in the palm of his hand. Hyang groaned as a hidden blade pierced his shoulder. Why? Why would a Murim leader aid the demonic cult? I share a common goal with cult leader Han. He spoke as if betrayal was a mere business transaction. As a sect leader, I cannot allow you to disrupt the balance of power any longer. Is that why you brought 𝒔𝒂𝒔 Lin here? Hyang hissed. Why involve an innocent child in this? Because you trusted her most, the man laughed. The deepest wounds come from those you believe in. A simple knife in the back did the trick. Thanks to you, even a lowly concubine's daughter was useful. Hyang gnashed his teeth in pure, agonizing rage. He couldn't believe how deep this web of treachery ran. Lin. Thinking back, I was actually quite furious. A memory of their past surfaced amidst the pain. I threatened to harm you so they'd back off. But I was bluffing. Yet, no one ever came. It's all right, she had whispered softly. I'm just a concubine's child. My life is worth nothing. Watching you suffer is worse than death. He worriedly asked if her heart bled. Lin trembled, nodding. She forced a smile. If I were stronger and wiser, I could finally lead the clan to glory. The vice leader sighed. At that rate, you'd be a grandmother before they ever acknowledged your worth. She snapped in fury. What did you say? 𝒔𝒔𝒂𝒔𝒔, you monster. I will end your life. Be careful, master. Overusing your power is suicide. 𝒂𝒔 applied a sealing charm. Forgive my insolence. Mysterious white smoke swirled beneath his feet. You must survive. 𝒂𝒔 screamed, pushing him toward the edge. 𝒂𝒔 charged into the darkness, clashing blades with �𝒔𝒂𝒔. The villain sneered. You think you'll escape? 𝒂𝒔 didn't care. You don't need to know. �𝒔𝒂𝒔 laughed. How foolish. You're already a corpse. Fear gripped him. This monster was too strong. Falling from a fatal strike, he choked out a name. Vice leader. Why did I betray the cult for you? Because to us, you were a living legend. You walked the path you chose, unlike us, mere puppets raised as killers, living only for orders. You have no idea what you represented. You were a brilliant light in our world of shadows. You shone so brightly, vice leader. He coughed blood, his vision fading as the abyss loomed below. Forgive my late arrival. Please, stay alive. The vice leader's broken body plummeted into the dark depths. Down in the murky blackness of the river, 𝒔𝒐𝒃 watched the physician. Well, is he dead? He survived the worst, 𝒂𝒏 replied. Without my divine arts, he would be a cold corpse. General 𝒔𝒐𝒃, I thank you. But who is this man that requires such extreme personal care? I found him downstream. A mere peasant, yet you treat him like royalty. Why such mercy, General? 𝒔𝒐𝒃 frowned. A peasant? Look closer. This man is no ordinary commoner. Something is different. Have you seen this jade pendant? Even with one eye, I can tell it's a priceless treasure. A Grand Master's mark is engraved here. No villager would possess this. Look at his lethal wounds. These scars and this jade. He was a noble warrior of incredible status. The physician sighed deeply. A warrior? What a waste. His meridians and dantian are completely pulverized. He is a martial cripple. He might never hold a sword again. For now, keep his presence a secret. We must observe him. We need clues. Who is he? Time passed. 6 months later, summer arrived in a quiet village. A young man called out, Hey, 𝒂𝒂𝒔, come share some snacks with me today. Don't be shy. Thank you, master. Let me finish this work first. The man smiled, handing him a small gift. Here, your favorite chrysanthemums. They just bloomed in the inner courtyard. The boy stared at the petals. Chrysanthemums? You're too kind, Master Du Luyen. You really are the best. Thank you so much. It had been half a year. His recovery was a miracle. Has his memory returned yet? 𝒔𝒐𝒃 asked. Total amnesia, the doctor replied. The only things we know is that he loves flowers and liquor. He despises plum blossoms. Why? Perhaps they are linked to the tragedy that shattered his very soul. I must examine him again to be safe. The physician bowed. As you wish, General. Right away. This is 𝒂𝒏's clinic. Why am I here? I'm so sleepy. I just want to go home. Just endure a bit longer. Suddenly, the doctor gasped. Impossible. His destroyed energy channels. There. Regenerating? The shattered meridians are nearly restored. A monstrous internal force is exploding within him. How is this possible? Self-restoration of a destroyed dantian is unheard of. If this were possible, why would warriors fear deviation? His internal power is returning. But will his martial techniques follow? I cannot say for certain yet. I'll test him myself with a bit of martial skill. Let's see if his body remembers the fight. Ouch! Old man, are you okay? The doctor rubbed his head. I just witnessed something truly terrifying. 𝒂𝒂𝒔. Despite his amnesia, his body reacted with perfect, lethal counterstrikes. Pure, invincible instinct. The technique was flawless, backed by immense power. 𝒔𝒐𝒃 stared in shock. Even while unconscious? Yes, the doctor whispered. At the very least, he was a master of the legendary Fire Realm. The Fire Realm? I knew he was no ordinary man, but he's a monster beyond my imagination. But wait! Why did you hit me? You're a bad man. A big, mean bully. Go away. His hidden potential is terrifying. Yet assigning him missions in this unstable state is a dangerous gamble. What if we trigger his dormant instincts? Currently, his legendary techniques are buried under layers of amnesia. If we force his body to remember its lethal rhythm naturally, his subconscious power will surely claw its way out. Then he'll reclaim his former glory as a monster of the battlefield. But are you suggesting we repeat that trauma? The physician recoils in horror. Absolutely not. Another shock like that will shatter his soul before it heals. I have a different plan. By refining his martial arts through observation, we'll spark his interest in the blade. The trainer lunges. Move faster. Push me to the brink if you want to survive this hellish training. Force the techniques into your bones. Let every strike saturate your very essence until the sword becomes your limb. A single move is nothing. Only when every technique harmonizes can you achieve the true strength of a god. Refining the external body is just the beginning. You must master the internal breath and the forbidden heart arts. Draw the primordial energy of nature into your lungs. Purify your blood and complete the legendary great circulation. Forgive me for this extremity, but you must die here to be reborn. The killing intent is suffocating. Stay alive! The commander screams as the girl tries to intervene. Stop. It's too dangerous to get closer. Heavens above. What is this pressure? He's literally devouring the surrounding atmosphere into his own parched veins. Is it over? Look. His body is undergoing the legendary marrow rebirth, a complete evolution of his mortal frame. Every martial artist dreams of this peak. To witness a human become an invincible monster with my own eyes. Wake up. He lay motionless, yet his presence is overwhelming. He truly is the heaven above all heavens. At the fortress of the great general, 2 elite guards stand watch as the sun begins to set. The day has finally come, one remarks. The great general returns today after his long, bloody campaign. The camp is in a frenzy of preparation. Hurry! Report his arrival. The hero of the empire is here. Banners flutter in the wind as the gates swing wide. The great general, a living legend, has returned home. Open the gates. All soldiers, fall in line. Greet our commander with the respect his bloodline deserves. Father. His son bows low in greeting. You've endured much. Welcome back to the safety of our halls. You came to meet me despite your busy schedule? You've grown into a fine man, my son. It is my duty. Father, please, come inside and rest. Suddenly, the general stops, sensing a monstrous presence. Wait, who is that man standing in your shadow? I've never seen a gaze so sharp before. I was just about to tell you, Father. This is the man I wish to recommend for our elite guard. The young man steps forward, his face a mask of cold iron. My name is 𝒔𝒂𝒔𝒔𝒊𝒏. Over wine, the general muses. While I was away, it seems you found quite an interesting toy. Son, tell me again, boy. What is your true name? The general's eyes narrow, searching for any sign of weakness. That's just a nickname, the son explains. He underwent a full-body evolution, but his memories remain shattered. He has the strength of a titan but the mind of a blank slate. We call him the chrysanthemum, a master who lost his mind to his own blade. He loves the autumn bloom but hates the plum. The plum blossom? The general's face pales. Son, did you bring the sword that was found with him? The blade is presented. Even sheathed, it radiates a noble, yet devastating aura that commands the entire room. At first glance, it looks rugged, but its soul is that of a high-ranking divine treasure. 𝒔𝒂𝒔, look at this steel. Does it not scream your name? Do you truly remember nothing? I've heard the stories, but I feel no connection to this weapon. It is just cold, dead metal. And yet, when I touch it, a shiver of ancient grief crawls up my spine. That is all. I see. Then I have a request. Join my Black Wind unit and serve as my shadow blade. I refuse. The room goes silent. My only debt is to the young lord who saved my life. I have no interest in your wars. I am content tending to horses and protecting the youngest son. The general bursts into a booming laugh. What an arrogant brat. I like your spirit, young man. Think carefully. 𝒔𝒂𝒔, this is a chance to reclaim your destiny. The son pleads with his friend. Silence fills the hall. Finally, the amnesiac monster nods, accepting the path that leads back to blood. Since you insist, I have no choice. But I have one final condition. I only accept this request while the general is alive. If he falls, I leave. From then on, I will act as I please. Understood? He nodded instantly. Your belongings will be sent ahead. Is that acceptable? Whatever is convenient, I replied. As he departed, the daughter whispered, Father, what do you know of his true identity? A warrior wielding the plum blossom. Could it be the legendary heavenly crane sword art? If the cult discovers he is here, chaos will erupt. Who is he really? Scene shift. Outside the camp, shadows lurked. Where did he come from? Kill him. Stop. I do not care who you are or why you have come here tonight. The moonlight is beautiful, so I am feeling merciful. Be grateful for your lives. But if you return, I will tear you apart before you can even breathe. I let them flee. Now, why not share a drink with the radiant moon instead? At the luxurious pavilion, the city's elite gathered while shadows moved in the dark. A scout knelt before a mysterious woman. My mission is complete. I have returned. She smirked, puffing her pipe. Report at once. What did you find out there? He is a terrifying master. He defeated every top-tier assassin and even broke me. Her smile turned cold. Then he is the one. The monster we are seeking. After the 9 great heroes, he is the second to reach the profound realm. The former vice leader of the demonic cult. How did he become a subordinate? Years ago, he fell into a trap and vanished. His body broken and bleeding. He lost his memories and now serves the general only to repay a debt. Confirming his identity is a massive victory. Now, go and heal your wounds. How do I sway such a man? Should I offer him revenge or secrets? Her expression turned twisted. Or perhaps I should assassinate the general and isolate him. Just thinking of the result makes me tremble with excitement. This will be legendary. Once the demonic leader hears he is alive, the entire Murim will shake violently. Dawn at the palace. 2 figures clashed in the courtyard, swords humming with power. They were deadly serious. One unleashed the pure lotus strike, a flurry of steel, but the opponent danced through the blades effortlessly. The strike missed every mark. Shocked, the young man fell, coughing as he glared at his relentless teacher. This was supposed to be practice. Why are you attacking like it is real? To survive against a blade, you must use every trick possible. You are pathetic. Will getting beaten really make me stronger? I do not see the point. You complain too much. Fine. What is it that you truly want then? Teach me the ultimate art. A sword that cuts everything. A fist that shatters mountains. He was desperate for the legendary power spoken of in ancient myths. What a dreamer. Hey, 𝒔𝒂𝒔𝒔𝒊𝒏, are you actually expecting a miracle right now? Look at the High Palace Library. It is filled with thousands of secret techniques. Do you know what I realized after reading them all? There is no ultimate art. Every martial art has a weakness. It is a cycle of predators and prey. Infantry falls to spears, spears fall to archers. There is no perfect weapon here. If I use the same lotus strike you just attempted. Watch closely, boy. Han gasped. The move was the same, but the destructive power was overwhelming. The technique does not matter. What matters is the monster who is wielding it. If you do not want to get hit again, you better learn how to move. When your rage peaks, strike me with everything you have. That is how your martial arts will naturally evolve. I am just joking. Now, let us go eat. Come on, master. Meanwhile, in a far-off land. Reporting. The Adan warriors have accepted the outcome. Next, the Manda warriors also submit to this result. A third voice rose. The 𝒔𝒂𝒔𝒊𝒏 warriors acknowledge this. Then the fourth, the 𝑑𝒂𝒂 warriors, also surrender. Please lead us, Great One. The legendary Mongol hero is none other than the great Temujin himself. While playing chess, Chin An asked, Have you heard the rumors? A new power has emerged within Mongolia, Ma Long sighed. Even without your mention, it is a headache. Usually, they are just a disorganized mob, but if they unite, they become a terrifying threat. We must crush this bud before they gather their strength. Chin An did not hesitate. We must act fast. Send me 200 elites and 10,000 infantry immediately. The lieutenant and the Black Wind Imperial Squad will take full responsibility for them from there. Ma Long looked worried. The power gap is quite severe. General, do you have a specific plan for this? The general laughed heartily. Ma Long, you worry too much. To hunt wolves, you do not need a plan. Just crush the alpha, and the rest will fall. Neo Khan noticed Hyang's grim expression. Why is Master so tense? Hyang sighed. What are you so excited about? The general explained the reason behind the boy's joy. He is finally joining the Black Wind Imperial Squad. He is eager to earn his grandfather's recognition at last. Suddenly, Hyang turned to him. Have you ever killed a man? The boy froze at the strange question. Hyang's gaze turned cold. To achieve glory, you must take lives. Are you truly prepared to sacrifice others? Do not hesitate, just swing your blade. No Han wondered if his master was finally regaining his lost memories. Hyang was not sure if his past was returning. Though not fully back, the sensation of killing felt hauntingly familiar. My body instinctively targets the enemy's fatal weaknesses. It is a subconscious reflex etched into my very soul. Who was I? Why is my martial arts so monstrous? How many souls have I sent to the afterlife? Ngok Han called out nervously. Nearby, Manhwa glared at them. Suddenly, a voice called out from behind. Lan Fi Hoa approached. I heard the newcomer lost his memory. How did a guy like you get this mission? Captain Bak Nyan must be joking. Captain Lam Trung watched, knowing Manhwa was itching for a fight. Hyang ignored her provocations. Do you have a problem with me? If so, just leave. I am busy. His indifference pushed her over the edge. Manhwa hissed. You are far too arrogant because the general favors you. I am tired of this nonsense. Hyang sighed. No matter what you try, you will not be able to touch me. That was the breaking point. Manhwa drew her sword, lunging at Hyang's back with lethal intent. I warned you, Hyang muttered. But you did not listen. Do you really think your power is enough? She could not believe it. How could I lose? Blinded by rage, Manhwa screamed, I will kill you! Hyang's eyes darkened. I was going to let it slide. But that murderous intent. Now I have no choice. A terrifying aura erupted around him. Do not regret this. He unleashed the legendary 5-element sword technique. Only a master at the Fire Realm could use such a skill. Manhwa's body began to tremble in terror. Hyang looked down at her. I hate pointless bickering. You are quick to realize the gap between us, right? If you are done, get lost. Manhwa screamed. Who are you? Hyang sent a telepathic message to her mind. Are you that curious? Too bad, I do not even know myself. All I know is I was betrayed. I lost my memories after that attack. Sometimes I wonder about my past, but it does not matter anymore. Right now, I am only here to repay my debt to Lord Ngok for saving my life from death. Before walking away, Hyang warned, I have answered you, so do not bother me again. I can be cruel. Lam Trung had seen everything. He rushed to the trembling Manhwa. Are you okay? Do not lose focus. You should be honored to duel such a master. The captain was stunned. How did I not realize his power? Manhwa whispered. I do not know the details. But one thing is certain, this war will end very quickly. Late that night by the lake, a group of high-ranking officials gathered in shadows to discuss a dire matter. Dongru spoke solemnly. There is unfortunate news. The vice-cult leader, Mukyang, is still alive. The room fell into a shocked silence. Mukyang? That is impossible. One man immediately stepped forward to report. Reports confirm he survived that fatal strike, rescued by the heir of the Jade Rakshasa, now known as Aurora of the Black Wind Squad. Joy gasped in utter disbelief. Aurora? He reassured them. The boy had lost all memories of their sacred cult. We must strike before his past awakens. Inyan smirked with a dark, twisted delight. Amnesia is a gift. He has likely forgotten the supreme martial arts he once mastered. Yongru barked back. He's a palace dog now. This won't be a simple task. If the Imperial Palace joins his side, our situation will turn into a total nightmare. I have a plan. I know a high-ranking enemy of the Jade Rakshasa inside. Topple the master, and the servants follow. Then, Mukyang will be ours to hunt. Yongru grinned at the brilliant scheme, his eyes burning with a vengeful fire. Mukyang, this time you stay dead. Meanwhile, the transformed monster dominated the entire battlefield. Like a god of death, his blade carved through the rebel ranks with terrifying ease. Manhwa trembled. This wasn't a man, it was a demon dancing in a bloodbath. The Imperial army surged forward, raining a lethal storm of arrows upon the enemy. Rebels scrambled as Nu Da roared, swinging his massive axe to shatter the encirclement. Break their line! He butchered everyone in his path while Mukyang watched with indifference. Ngu Da charged like a wild beast, focusing every ounce of his savage-killing intent. In a flash of steel, Mukyang's blade sang, ending the brute's life in one heartbeat. Ngu Da was sent to hell. His comrades screamed as a vengeful arrow flew. Mukyang caught the bolt on his steel, spinning it in a lethal, gravity-defying arc. The archer stood frozen as his own projectile reversed its deadly trajectory toward him. The arrow pierced the archer's skull just as 𝑨𝒔𝒂𝒚 finally revealed himself. "Magnificent! I am 𝑨𝒔𝒂𝒚, the great Khan. What is your name?" "Warrior." "I am Aurora," 𝒔𝒂𝒔 replied, his voice as cold as a mountain winter storm. "A worthy foe, let our blades decide." The Khan charged with earth-shaking, monstrous fury. The Khan unleashed a devastating blow, met by 𝒔𝒂𝒔's slender, unbreakable bone-white blade. "A sword made of bone?" The Khan grinned, impressed by the boy's monstrous strength. Pouring his titanic aura into his saber, the Khan struck with absolute, crushing force. Manhwa watched in terror. 𝒔𝒂𝒃 screamed, "We must help the captain now. Stay back. You'll only hinder me." 𝒔𝒂𝒔 barked as the Khan's horse leaped high. Their auras collided violently. A second later, the Khan's horse lost its head completely. Tumbling to the dirt, the Khan admitted, "You truly are a formidable monster. Boy, you broke my fang. But don't think that's the limit of my legendary power." He drove his blade into the earth, summoning a ghostly mist of fallen souls. "Soldiers of the steppe, arise." The Khan charged again like a frenzied, demonic beast. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 danced through the carnage, burying his blade deep into the Khan's massive gut. "It ends here," 𝒔𝒂𝒔 declared coldly as the legendary Khan spat out dark blood. "An easy end?" The dying giant snarled, crushing 𝒔𝒂𝒔's arm in a final grip. As the Khan raised his blade, 𝒔𝒂𝒔 twisted his sword deeper into the wound. With one final, ruthless slash, the Mongol leader collapsed in waves of agonizing pain. A warrior's death for a great leader. "Rest now, Khan of the endless Mongols." 𝒔𝒂𝒔 stood tall amidst the wreckage, a lone hero under the vast, silent sky. Victory was ours. The bloody Mongol expedition had finally reached its ultimate conclusion. General 𝑦𝒔𝒔 ordered a total massacre to ensure the tribes would never rise. Loathing senseless slaughter, I secretly spared a tribe and raised a victory toast. With rewards from the imperial palace in hand, I savored the spoils of our bloody victory. Fine wine and a scenic view perfection. Yet, a shadow of melancholy flickered in 𝒔𝒂𝒔's eyes. The scenery was breathtaking. Books say taking a life should bring guilt, yet I felt something else. Strangely, a sense of euphoria washed over me. Perhaps I truly am a heartless monster. Suddenly, his ears twitched. He strained to listen. A melody? In a place this desolate, the sound of a zither echoed. A hauntingly familiar tune. Driven by curiosity, 𝒔𝒂𝒔 approached the source, a secluded, lonely house. Deep within the forest, he stood firm. This song, it belonged to the life I lost. These were the notes I heard before my memories vanished. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 peered inside, searching for the player. A solitary figure sat within. Could they hold the key to my past? He summoned his courage and entered. Direct confrontation was the only way. Meanwhile, at Yin's estate, the general watched the moon rise. The mission was nearly complete. A servant interrupted. "General, you have guests." He was puzzled. Who could it be? "The White Dragon Captain, Jusu," she replied. Yin frowned. Why would they arrive at this ungodly hour? The high officials bowed deeply, wishing the general a peaceful evening as they entered his inner sanctum. "Keep your voices down," Yin warned. "The world sleeps. What brings you here in the dead of night?" One official spoke up. "Did the commander not summon us?" Yin's eyes narrowed. "I gave no such order." The official explained that a messenger claiming to be Yin's servant had delivered the command. Dread filled the air. "Something is wrong," Yin hissed. "Return to your barracks immediately." Suddenly, a mocking laugh erupted from the shadows. "No need for that." A stranger appeared, eyes cold as ice. The generals drew their blades instantly. "Behold the imperial decree. General Yin, you are under arrest for high treason against the imperial throne." "Treason?" the official roared. Yin stood paralyzed. The emperor would never issue such a baseless, cursed command. His face hardened into a mask of stone. "Do you realize the weight of this false accusation?" he demanded. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 sneered, his smile dripping with malice. "This is the emperor's will. Surrender or die, Yin." Yin unsheathed his blade, the steel singing. "We have always been rivals, but this is the final straw. I will cut you down and present the truth to the emperor myself." 𝒔𝒂𝒔 didn't flinch. "Still confident in your pathetic swordplay?" he mocked. With a wave, He ordered his men to strike. Chaos erupted as steel clashed. Meanwhile, in the forest, the mysterious girl played her zither, incense burning. The sweet, heavy fragrance filled the room. 𝒔𝒔𝒂𝒔 stepped forward, mesmerized by the hauntingly beautiful performance. "Exquisite playing," he remarked. The girl smiled without looking up. "And who might you be, traveler?" "Forgive my intrusion," 𝒔𝒂𝒔 replied. "Your melody drew me here." She finally turned, her gaze piercing. "Did you ever teach anyone to play?" he asked. Suddenly, his body froze. An agonizing pain surged through him. "Heavenly maiden's incense," she giggled. "The ultimate aphrodisiac and poison. Long time no see, vice leader." 𝒔𝒂𝒔 trembled, his strength fading. Who are you? How do you know my true identity?" She stepped closer. "Before you lost your memories, I knew everything. The vice leader of the heavenly demon cult, a master of the boyhood arts, a power built on pure celibacy." 𝒔𝒂𝒔's mind raced through the fog. "I must escape. My body is failing." She circled him like a predator watching its trapped prey. "To endure this poison for so long. You truly are a monster, vice leader." 𝒔𝒂𝒔 groaned in agony. She embraced him, whispering like a demon, "Let go. Surrender to the bliss and leave the world behind." A primal scream shattered the night. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 bolted through the forest, teeth clenched in pure, unadulterated rage. The incense had done its work. The sacred seal of his celibate power was broken, his clothes gone. "You lied to me," he spat. "You claimed your boyhood arts were absolute." 𝒔𝒂𝒔 flushed with shame. "I will uncover the truth of this deception," he vowed. "Is it true? Am I really 𝒔𝒂𝒔?" "There is no doubt," she confirmed. "I was your teacher, after all. The legendary vice leader of the cult. The heavenly demon cult sentenced you to death, yet somehow you crawled back from the abyss. If the cult learns you live, they will hunt you again to erase their shame." 𝒔𝒂𝒔 stared. "You speak too freely," he muttered. She smiled. "My mission is over. The rest is up to fate. The task falls to another." 𝒔𝒂𝒔 asked in confusion, "Is there someone else?" She replied coldly, "Only I remain." But at General Jin's manor, a blood-soaked nightmare unfolded. Just as she predicted, the legendary general was cornered. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 sneered, "Checkmate, General. Surrender now." Jin's fury erupted, his eyes blazing with a righteous, burning rage. "𝒔𝒂𝒔, do you realize what you have done?" he roared. "To invite the demonic cult into our sacred lands?" 𝒔𝒂𝒔 remained indifferent. Jin vowed to himself, "I cannot fall yet. I must tear this traitor limb from limb." Suddenly, he laughed like a madman. "Allying with those demons? What a pathetic choice you have made." 𝒔𝒂𝒔. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 looked at Yanrin. "Have you lost your mind?" But the general was ready to expose the shameful truth. "You are nothing but a castrated coward, a eunuch hiding from the life of a real man." 𝒔𝒂𝒔 froze. Jin mocked him further. "No matter how fast your sword dance is, you cannot defeat me. I wondered why your blade was so swift. It is because your lower half is so light." Enraged, 𝒔𝒂𝒔 charged like a wild beast. Jin smirked inwardly. "He has fallen right into my trap." Jin secretly gripped 2 coins between his fingers. As 𝒔𝒂𝒔 lunged forward, the general unleashed his hidden projectile. The coins whistled through the air, but 𝒔𝒂𝒔's twin blades deflected them with effortless, deadly precision. Suddenly, 𝒔𝒂𝒔 froze. Jin's aura exploded like a violent storm, his blade crackling with terrifying electric sparks. "Prepare yourself," Jin warned. "This strike carries the full weight of my internal cultivation. Try to survive." He plunged his sword into the earth, then swung with a masterful, world-shaking execution. The Phantom Exorcist sword style summoned the spirit of a majestic tiger. Yet, 𝒔𝒂𝒔 showed no fear. "Saving your best for last? Then I shall respond with equal respect." 𝒔𝒂𝒔's counter-move left Jin utterly speechless. "He blocked it?" Jin gasped. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 wore a sinister grin. "Farewell, General. Your journey ends here." With a devastating palm strike, 𝒔𝒂𝒔 blasted Jin across the courtyard, leaving him broken on the ground. "Impossible." Jin wheezed, his strength fading. The earth itself had shattered beneath the weight of that monstrous blow. A mysterious figure watched from the shadows, praising 𝒔𝒂𝒔. Even the palace's top masters might not match him. It was 𝑣𝒔𝒊𝒏. He turned to his men with a cold command. "Eliminate the remaining Black Wind members. Scour the inner camp. Leave no soul alive to tell the tale. The soldiers roared in unison. Understood. Gonggong smirked. My thanks to the vice leader. Without your help, Jin might still be standing. 𝒔𝒔𝒂𝒔𝒊𝒏 played it down. No, we should thank you for making this slaughter so remarkably easy. And the target we sought? Gonggong asked. 𝒔𝒔𝒂𝒔𝒊𝒏 sighed. He is no longer a concern. The cult has dealt with him. Suddenly, a massive explosion rocked the area. Both men turned as a dark shadow emerged from the wreckage. Two guards fell instantly to a single, lightning-fast slash. Stepping through the mist was none other than Mukyang. 𝒔𝒔𝒂𝒔𝒊𝒏's teeth chattered in terror. Impossible. How could he be here? Gonggong let out a delighted chuckle. He seems quite extraordinary. Is he the one your cult is so afraid of? 𝒔𝒔𝒂𝒔𝒊𝒏's mind raced with dread. Mukyang saw General Jin lying lifeless, and his eyes narrowed. A toxic rage began to simmer within his soul. I do not care about the past, he spoke calmly. Whether I hated you, or you plotted my death matters little. I only wish to live my life in the present. But you crossed the line, he declared with cold finality. You killed my companion. For that, you must now taste the edge of my evolved blade. 𝒔𝒔𝒂𝒔𝒊𝒏 lost his composure. What are you waiting for? He is just a man with no memory. Kill him now. Mukyang's eyes glowed with a divine light. As the soldiers charged, the air grew heavy with the scent of death. With a few elegant strokes, he decimated the ranks. But then, a sharp blade pointed directly at his throat. Gonggong lunged. Mukyang narrowly dodged the strike, realizing his opponent possessed a monstrous level of power. Like a starving predator, Gonggong relentlessly pursued his prey, his movements blurring with insane speed. A vertical slash nearly cleaved the air in two. Mukyang danced back, narrowly escaping the razor-sharp edge. Their blades collided with a deafening boom, creating a massive shockwave that seemed to tear the very fabric of space. Mukyang leaped back to gain some breathing room. He was panting, his lungs burning from the sheer intensity. Gonggong laughed. Is that all? If this is your limit, then run for your life. He turned to the vice leader. Vice leader, would you mind leaving this one to me? 𝒔𝒔𝒂𝒔𝒊𝒏 glanced over, his eyes cold and calculating. Skepticism lingers, yet the command is absolute. Careful, eunuch. He is a fallen master of the flower realm. Gripping his gold-crested blade, the eunuch's lips curl into a sinister smirk. Finally, he whispers, hungry for blood. Perfect, he sneers. Mukyang remains cold as ice. Tell me, can you even stand against me alone? Fury burns behind the eunuch's eyes. Watch me. Mukyang leaps, preparing a lethal, eagle-like counter-strike. Like a soaring predator, Mukyang strikes from above. The eunuch readies his steel, a duel worth my time. Mukyang crashes down, blade whistling through the air. Their clashing steel ignites a hurricane of pure destruction. Gale winds howl as blades collide. The eunuch gains the upper hand, forcing Mukyang into a desperate retreat. Arrogance radiating, the eunuch prowls forward. Each slow, heavy step mocks Mukyang's rapidly dwindling strength. Beneath his feet, the earth shatters. Why the rush? The eunuch mocks. Death will find you soon enough. Blinding light dances around Mukyang's blade. His voice is frozen. Dueling you? That was never my intent. He hurls his blade with lethal precision. Blinding streaks of light graze the eunuch's shocked and frozen face. The eunuch stands paralyzed as the winds die. Behind him, a web of glowing sword trails lingers in the air. Storms erupt wherever the blade passes. The eunuch bellows his countermove. The legendary Qi-governed sword technique. A mocking laugh escapes the eunuch. Impressive skill, truly. But against me, it is nothing but child's play. Is it? Mukyang's shadow looms behind him. The eunuch realizes too late he was chasing a phantom illusion. Confusion paralyzes the eunuch's mind. Mukyang seizes the moment, unleashing a devastating, soul-shattering, and lethal strike. The eunuch is blasted through solid stone. General! His men scream as the wall crumbles into a mountain of dust. Mukyang stares into the debris. Through the smoke, a bloodied figure rises. You, and your pathetic little tricks. Mukyang freezes. How is he still standing? With explosive, terrifying speed, the eunuch charges back into the fray. Pressure mounts as Mukyang is driven back. Desperation clouds his face, until his combat instincts finally ignite. A massive arc of energy cleaves the air. Mukyang unleashes the devastating wilderness-breaking flowing blade. The eunuch laughs, summoning a nightmare. Purple Dragon's toxic fog. Poisonous serpents manifest from the dark gloom. Venomous fangs clash against the roaring gale. A cataclysmic explosion rocks the very foundations of the broken earth. As the dust settles, a grim toll is taken. Moo-kyang kneels, while the eunuch stands, radiating dark superiority. "It's over," the eunuch gloats. "Don't worry. I will plant a white chrysanthemum on your pathetic grave." Teeth gnashing, Moo-kyang's spirit refuses to break. "I am not finished with you yet," he rasps. Suddenly, a cowardly strike from the shadows. 𝑺𝒊𝒏𝒄𝒆's blow shatters the earth into 1,000 fragments. Why interfere? The eunuch snaps. 𝑺𝒊𝒏𝒄𝒆 shrugs. "Just making sure this pest is truly dead." "You think he's a threat?" The eunuch fumes. "He possesses the heavenly demon's secrets," Lang warns solemnly. "If his true power awakens, we are doomed. Combined, even we are no match for his potential." Moo-kyang lies broken, consciousness fading. Is this the end? Is his legend destined to die here today? No regrets remain, yet a hollow void consumes him. Why did he fight? For honor? Or for vengeance? No. A deeper hunger ignites. From the brink of death, an ancient, terrifying monster begins its final evolution. The villains tremble as a dark aura erupts. Moo-kyang rises a broken body now fueled by invincible energy. Like a vengeful ghost, he looms in the shadows. "Did you fail to kill him?" The eunuch stammers. "Impossible!" Lang screams. Then, a flash of steel. Lang is silenced forever, leaving the eunuch paralyzed with fear. Still grounded, Moo-kyang felt his weak body finally reaching its absolute, agonizing limit. Is this the end? No regrets remained, yet a hollow emptiness consumed his fading consciousness. Was the struggle for loyalty, glory, or revenge against those who had humiliated him? No. His true motivation ignited, forcing a monstrous evolution to surge from within his soul. An unstoppable force awakened. Moo-kyang stood, his dark aura terrifying everyone on the battlefield. A toxic, overwhelming energy erupted from his core, pulsating with the power of 1,000 poisons. Hunched like a living corpse, his shadow loomed over them like a monster from nightmares. The eunuch trembled, asking the vice cult leader if the boy had truly been killed. "Impossible," the leader barked. But a swift strike ended his life before he could react. Blood stained his cheek as he trembled. Cold sweat dripped. What just happened? In a flash, the vice leader was gone. His internal energy had mutated. Moo-kyang gripped his gleaming blade. Step by step, he approached the eunuch. The old man drew his sword, screaming, "Gokwaeng! Forbidden arts?" Moo-kyang's face remained shadowed. His voice was cold. "Gokwaeng, you say?" The eunuch prepared to fight. "A man can't change this fast. Gokwaeng is dead. You are a monster." Moo-kyang's eyes went dark. Their blades clashed. "You dare call me Gokwaeng?" he whispered coldly. The enemy froze. Moo-kyang enunciated every syllable. "My name is Moo-kyang." His gaze was lethal. Moo-kyang, the lone wanderer, stood alongside the king of hell, staring down at the fortress below. "Is the plan moving smoothly?" Cheonri asked. Moo-kyang lost his martial arts. "Isn't this overkill?" "Total annihilation is safer," the king of hell replied. Suddenly, a massive explosion shook the earth. Cheonri jumped in shock. "That blue sword light. What is that divine power?" They didn't wait. Both leaped toward the city, like arrows shot from a bow. As they reached the walls, a gruesome sight awaited them. They gasped in sheer horror. "God help us!" they cried. Before them lay a wasteland of carnage and broken bodies. Even 𝒔𝒊𝒏𝒄𝒆 and the eunuch were slaughtered. Their plan had utterly failed. Though they weren't brothers by blood, a single, terrifying thought crossed both their minds. A dark figure looked down from the rooftop. "Long time no see. Are you two still alive?" They stood frozen in shock. Could it be? Under the full moon, Moo-kyang's silhouette loomed. "Vice Leader Moo-kyang," the king of hell stammered, his heart racing with dread. "I've forgotten how long it's been," Moo-kyang said calmly. "Our destiny has become a curse. Yet, seeing you again, it brings me joy." He looked down at them with pity. "You wonder if my memories returned? Well, I remember everything now. Every single detail. Test me if you dare." Cheonri and the king of hell knew. They were finished. How could anyone defeat a Moo-kyang who had reclaimed both his memories and godlike power? Run or fight. Either way, you die. You are nothing but insects before me. The wind howled, lifting his hair. As the vice leader of the heavenly demon cult, I declare, I will rewrite history with my own hands. I am the true demon. His eyes blazed. I will seize the heavenly demon cult. Now, I give you one final choice. Die as the leader's pathetic dogs, or become my hounds and walk the path of the blade. Without hesitation, they fell to their knees, shouting in unison, "We will follow you, vice leader." 𝒔𝒂𝒔 smirked. "Eliminate the rest. From this day on, history will be written in blood." Dawn broke over a small cottage. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 checked on Don Tianyan's wounds. "Are you healing?" He turned to Tianan. "Thanks to you, we secured this position. I owe you my thanks." Behind him, the leaders of the Black Wind and the Heavenly Emperor's units bowed low. "Thank you for saving us from the Emperor's onslaught," they shouted, their voices filled with gratitude. "If you hadn't stopped them, we would be nothing but corpses in the dirt by now." Don Tianyan hesitated. "𝒔𝒂𝒔𝒂𝒔. No. May I address you as Vice Leader 𝒔𝒂𝒔?" 𝒔𝒂𝒔 waved him off. "As you wish." The general asked, "Why did you save us?" Without looking back, 𝒔𝒂𝒔 replied, "The man named 𝒔𝒂𝒔 is gone. I have my reasons. I expect nothing in return. Go where you wish." But the general looked troubled. "General 𝒂𝒔𝒔 is dead. The palace considers us a disgrace. We have nowhere to turn. They want us erased from history. We've discussed this amongst ourselves already." They dropped to the ground, hands clasped in a vow of loyalty. "We swear fealty to you." 𝒔𝒂𝒔 raised an eyebrow. "Even knowing I am the heart of the heavenly demon cult? We are soldiers, not politicians." Don Tian responded firmly. "We only believe in you, 𝒔𝒂𝒔." With a slight nod and a faint smile, he replied, "I accept your assistance." Then, a woman's voice called out. She was the only female member of the Heavenly Union, stepping forward to offer 𝒔𝒂𝒔 her deepest gratitude. "I have a private matter to discuss, Grand Marshal." 𝒔𝒂𝒔 crossed his arms and waited at the tea table. He got straight to the point. "What is it you need?" Unfazed, she asked, "Have you forgotten your days as 𝒔𝒂𝒔?" 𝒔𝒂𝒔 calmly took a sip of his tea. "The sovereign? Perhaps those memories have already faded into nothingness." The woman gasped at his cold indifference. You must be joking. How can you say that, Great Marshal?" "I never joke," 𝒔𝒂𝒔 stated firmly. She gripped her teacup, her voice trembling as she questioned him further. "So your memories have returned, yet your body feels no change? Even after regaining your past self?" She set the warm cup down and looked at him. "Then tell me, what are your plans for the future?" 𝒔𝒂𝒔 spoke gravely of his situation. "My faction lacks everything. Though I've sworn revenge, I am still weak." He envisioned an old man training servants, an unassuming front for a master building an army from the shadows. "I have recruited 𝒂𝒔 to build my military might. Soon, I will establish a power that is truly mine." Returning to reality, 𝒔𝒂𝒔 sighed. "Did you call me out just for this idle chatter?" "I am here to confirm your resolve, not to chat," she corrected. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 chuckled, amused by her spirit. "You are quick-witted. It has been a long time since anyone could truly keep up with my pace." She giggled to hide her shyness, her resemblance to a beautiful short-haired lady striking a chord within him. "I was only following the Grand Marshal's orders," she stammered. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 saw a familiar ghost in her smile. He smiled back warmly. "Do as you wish." She skillfully changed the subject to hide her fluttering heart. "But why keep the name Heavenly Demon Cult? If you want revenge, wouldn't a new name be better?" 𝒔𝒂𝒔 didn't dodge the question. "It is because of the cult's nature." He explained the ruthless hierarchy. "Under the shadow of the great demon," he noted, "the laws for those at the top are absolute. Fighting as a different sect means eternal war. But challenging the leader as the vice leader changes everything. It becomes a legitimate duel for the throne. Those following the current leader will be forced to choose sides." 𝒔𝒂𝒔 voiced his cold prediction. Right now, Han Young-suk must be suffering from a massive headache. Meanwhile, deep within a dark cavern, a colossal and grotesque statue of the heavenly demon loomed. Eerie chanting echoed through the gloom as the Black Demon Emperor, Han Young-suk, focused on his cultivation. Sweat beaded on his brow as he finished his ritual. He had reached the peak, yet something felt wrong. "Ever since I attained the ultimate demon stage, my internal energy has completely stopped its growth." His face darkened with intense stress. What should I do? Panic began to stir within the Emperor's soul. If this plan fails, I lose everything. My legends and my warriors will all kneel before 𝒔𝒂𝒔. He is gathering followers recklessly. It seems 𝒔𝒂𝒔 is finally building a circle of unstoppable power. A powerful aura radiated from him as he muttered, "Even if I rule the world, this land remains unconquered. The martial arts world will laugh at me. Truthfully, even I find it difficult to seize total control now." His inner voice became a desperate roar. "Today, I truly miss the days of drinking alongside 𝒔𝒂𝒔." Elsewhere, in a bustling market, 𝒔𝒂𝒔 strolled casually through the crowd, enjoying the lively afternoon. He sighed with total impatience. "Manhwa, why do you have so many questions? I just want a drink." Suddenly, a loud argument caught his eye. Two thugs were aggressively confronting a lone, stoic swordsman. "Do you dare mock the 5 monsters of Henan?" The swordsman replied. "You started this. I just wanted passage." 𝒔𝒂𝒔 smirked, finding the scene amusing. "A fight? Right here in the middle of this peaceful street?" The thugs drew their steel, threatening the man. "You will lose an arm for your arrogance today." The swordsman reached for the worn scabbard on his back. It was time to teach these punks a lesson. His voice turned dangerously cold. "I should say that to you. Since you drew first, do not regret this." He unsheathed a brilliant blade with an intricately carved hilt. It was clearly a weapon of legendary status. Watching from the shadows, �𝒂𝒔's eyes widened in shock. A radiant aura surrounded that familiar steel. That sword. It was unmistakable. In a flash of speed, �𝒂𝒔 blurred through the startled crowd. Like a sudden gale, the mysterious stranger closed the distance. The swordsman instantly braced for impact. Confusion raced through his mind. Who was this monster? He swung a desperate, wide arc to survive. But 𝒔𝒂𝒔 moved like a ghost. With godlike speed, he vanished and reappeared behind his panicked foe. A single hand crushed the man's head from behind. His voice was cold, sharp as 1,000 blades. "I will only ask you once." The sheer killing intent radiating from him made the air turn frigid. "Tell me everything. Where did you steal that sword?" 𝒔𝒂𝒔's grip tightened, his warning final and absolute. Leaning close, he breathed a terrifying question. Terrified, the swordsman scrambled to explain the blade's origin. "It is the Jade Spirit Sword. My late master, the legendary 𝒊𝒏, entrusted it to me." 𝒔𝒂𝒔 froze at the name. "If you plan to stain that blade's honor, I will end you here." He moved with terrifying grace. The junior trembled, stuttering out a name he barely dared to speak. "Could it be? Are you Master 𝒔𝒂𝒔?" The legendary warrior's expression shifted in pure shock and disbelief. Stunned that his identity was known, they journeyed together to a lonely, secluded mountain grave. Fresh incense burned amidst the overgrown grass. Side by side, they sat before the humble tombstone. 𝒔𝒂𝒔's gaze pierced his soul. "Swear to me now. Is there a single lie in your words?" "I swear on my life. Master 𝒊𝒏 gave me this sword before his final breath." The tension finally broke. 𝒔𝒂𝒔 realized the truth. Without knowing his name, this meeting was impossible. Master spoke of you often. He called you his greatest disciple, a peerless genius of the blade. Hungry for news of his old friend, 𝒔𝒂𝒔 pressed for more. "How did you two even meet?" The swordsman looked back. "I found him hiding in a remote cave deep within Mount Hwa. He was in seclusion then." 𝒔𝒂𝒔's heart sank as guilt began to gnaw at his soul. Was it because of me? The demonic cult must have hunted him down because of our bond. A heavy silence fell. "Tell me, did he at least find peace in his final moments?" The junior gazed at the rising smoke. He was so alone. No medicine could save him. He remembered the agony. As 𝒊𝒏's internal energy shattered, his body began to break apart. It was the curse of dissipation. The stronger the master, the more excruciating the final moments are. Tears fell as he spoke for his master. "Usually, a loved one ends the suffering to grant mercy. An orthodox warrior like you wouldn't understand such dark mercy." 𝒔𝒂𝒔 looked away in solemn thought. "Train hard, then leave this bloody world. I won't see 𝒊𝒏's legacy die in a gutter." The junior watched him rise. "Senior, where will you go now?" 𝒔𝒂𝒔 didn't look back once. "I am off to find a drink." With a flick of his sleeves, he vanished into the distance. His face remained a mask, but his mind was a storm of memories and ancient regrets. He recalled his master's booming laughter and smiled. They truly had the best times together. On this very mountain, they once drank as brothers. Now, only one remains to face the silence. As the sun dipped below the peaks, a crushing loneliness settled over the desolate mountain path. Looking toward the horizon, He whispered a final goodbye. Rest well, master. Your journey is over. The scene shifts. Deep in a cursed forest, a terrifying iron gate seals a dark abyss. Torches flickered outside the dungeon. Inside, a monstrous entity radiated a thick, suffocating aura of death. The ground trembled with every massive step. A nightmare was crawling toward the light of day. He is still alive, the captain roared to his men. His crew answered with a unified shout. Move out! On his command, the warriors charged the beast with their blades drawn high. The captain unleashed a devastating vertical slash, screaming his ultimate technique to bolster his courage. The triple lotus strike landed. The captain grinned wildly, certain the beast was finished at last. Black smoke hissed from the wounds, but the monster didn't flinch. It was completely unharmed. The beast's eyes flared with pure malice. Cold sweat poured down the captain's face as terror set in. In a blur of speed, the demonic titan lunged. A massive fist loomed over the doomed warrior. Faint strength gripped his blade. He struck down a single foe, then lunged toward the next target. His brother's desperate cry echoed, as a demonic palm crushed through bone and flesh. A sickening crunch followed by silence. He was sent flying across the dirt. The massive demon closed in, looking down at his prey with cold eyes. Impossible, he whispered. While the monster unleashed a tidal wave of poison, a final scream pierced the night. Before everything went deathly quiet, the villains smirked in the shadows. Their ultimate weapon had surpassed all expectations. The heavenly zombie is a masterpiece. Not even a grandmaster could stand against it. They eyed the kidnapped victims, plotting their next move with cruel intent. Feed them to the corpses, the leader ordered, turning his own kin into monster food. The heavy stone door groaned open, revealing twisted creatures that were once human. A twisted army of the undead stood ready. The deputy leader's pride knew no bounds. Everything is falling into place, he hissed, his gaze burning with unholy fire. He dreamed of becoming the ultimate demon god to rule over the entire cult with iron. Meanwhile, 𝒔𝒂𝒔𝒔𝒊𝒏 sat in silence, sensing a dark shift in the winds. An elder knelt low in deep respect, pledging his life to the young master. The elders have chosen their side, he reported. We will follow you into the abyss. Doubts swirled in the girl's mind. Why would the leader surrender his power now? 𝒔𝒂𝒔𝒔 read her expression clearly. The games of the great sect were beginning. His face darkened with intense pressure. Why bring me these words of destiny now? Trust was a luxury he couldn't afford. The subordinate trembled under his freezing aura. It was his final command, the old man pleaded, the last wish of Leader Han. 𝒔𝒂𝒔𝒔's eyes narrowed in suspicion. His final command? What game is he playing? You are our only master now, the elder vowed, even if you become our greatest enemy. Questions burned in 𝒔𝒂𝒔's soul. What was the true price of this throne? The path is set, the servant whispered, while elsewhere, a new storm gathered. Under the pale moonlight at the mansion, the Black Emperor felt a chilling presence. The traitors emerged from the darkness, grinning at their prey like hungry wolves. Have you come to die? The Emperor mocked, as the air grew heavy with killing intent. He laughed at their petty ambitions. You're nothing but a coward hiding behind puppets. You fear 𝒔𝒂𝒔 even in your dreams. The insult cut deeper than any blade. With a snap of fingers, the trap-sprung undead monsters dropped from the ceiling rafters. The Emperor didn't flinch for a second. If death is what you choose, so be it. The zombies lunged with feral hunger, but he met them with a single palm. A massive shockwave shattered the room, sending dust and debris into the night. He crushed the undead like mere insects, disdain written all over his battle-scarred face. I am the true sovereign of this cult. His power rivaled the heavens themselves. Veins pulsed as his aura exploded. A crimson glow lit up his murderous eyes. Do you think that throne is for weaklings? He stood tall amidst the piles of corpses. The zombie army was reduced to ash. The Emperor's dominance was absolute and terrifying. Yet the traitor remained strangely calm, impressive. But your end is already written. Hundreds of shadows surrounded the estate. A never-ending tide of death approached. The Emperor's rage boiled over at last. Then I'll show you what true hell looks like. A catastrophic explosion of dark energy erupted, tearing the very fabric of reality apart. As the smoke cleared, a silhouette emerged. Now, do you understand your place? The great leader emerges, wreathed in overwhelming dark aura. These mindless corpses cannot halt his divine steps. Inyan watches in disbelief. With such immense power, escape was easy. Why stay in this death trap? His voice rumbles like thunder. You have spent too long plotting, whether for vengeance or petty dominance. Your path is narrow and ends only in ruin. No matter your choice, Failure is your only destiny. A true leader must prioritize the heavenly demon cult. Han Dong-ryu remains bound by ancient principles. The law of the strong dictates Han shall lead. As for you, Inyan, only destruction awaits your soul. Inyan erupts in mocking laughter. Your judgment is flawed. There is no more need for useless talk. With a single command, the undead tide surges toward Dong-ryu. But these puppets are nothing to him. Is this all your cowardice can muster? He bellows, his voice shaking the foundations of the earth. Black lightning explodes from his palms, incinerating the corpses. Suddenly, a shadow creeps from the darkness behind. A lone zombie strikes, but it is mere filth. He vows to purge every last nuisance right now. He unleashes the Crescent Death Bolt, a technique that shreds the undead into 1,000 bloody pieces. A roar echoes through the chaos. Leader Han Dong-ryu, I, Yi-un, shall claim your head. Blades clash as Yanu launches a relentless assault. Behind them, Inyan watches with a venomous, dark smirk. The scheme deepens. Inyan shamelessly orders the archer division to aim their sights at the great leader. 100 arrows rain down like lethal starlight. Locked in combat with Yanu, Dong-ryu is momentarily blind. Realization strikes. He shatters the arrows with his bare hands, sensing the foul stench of a trap. Normal steel cannot pierce me. Yet, something feels wrong. Inyan orders the next wave to fire immediately. I must eliminate Elder Yi-un first. He thinks, unaware of the poisoned malice heading his way. The impossible happens. Arrows that should have bounced off now sink deep into the great leader's flesh. How can they bypass my protective aura? He gasps. Finally, the traitor reveals his hidden trump card. These are no ordinary arrows. They were forged specifically to hunt masters of the absolute demon realm. Fury consumes his reason. Dong-ryu charges toward Inyan, but Yi-un steps in to block him. You shall go no further, Yi-un declares. Dong-ryu attacks like a beast, ignoring all logic. The end arrives. Inyan fires a final, fatal shot. He laughs, savoring the taste of stolen victory. You fought well, great leader. But even legends must bleed. The war concludes in a crimson haze. Standing over the broken leader, Inyan gloats. Dong-ryu spits blood, his eyes still burning with defiance. Congratulations on your hollow title, but do not think it lasts. My loyalists will soon arrive here. A zombie silences him before he can finish. Inyan sneers, showing no mercy to his fallen predecessor. Han has already been dealt with. Do not assume others are as incompetent as you, Inyan mocks. You allied with the Black Moon sect. The dignity of our cult has truly fallen to the abyss. Inyan's face twists in rage. Power belongs to the one who wins, regardless of the foul methods. Destroy his Dantian and bind him. He is still a valuable piece in my grand conquest game. Once Han falls, every demon will kneel. The unification of the martial world is finally within reach. The madman's laughter echoes. Elsewhere, a massive explosion startles a flock of crows into the sky. The air trembles with violence. Below, a man stands exhausted amidst a sea of rotting, undead warriors. It is Trong-hak, struggling against Inyan's endless army. The villain appears, wearing a satisfied, mocking grin. Already tiring. Alliance leader? My legion of zombies is far from finished. Surrender is your only option. Did you orchestrate this nightmare? Trong-hak demands. You think this slaughter will bring you true power? I see no problem here. The result is all that matters, and victory stands right before me. You are on your knees, and the alliance follows. I have no more time for idle chatter. Kill him! The undead swarm Trong-hak. Though he refuses to yield, the odds are stacked against him. A desperate struggle unfolds. Meanwhile, another battlefield trembles after a devastating strike from the master Mukyang. A wounded elder stammers in shock. What sin has my sect committed? What is it you want? Your life is spared for now. Simply provide the resources we require, Mukyang coldly commands him. Since he refused the tribute, does he want war? Mukyang's blade screams with murderous intent. Civil war has begun. After cleansing the sect's internal rot, Mukyang seeks a moment's peace. He retreats to the deep forest. Nature's tranquility is the only thing that never bores me. With every local sect under his iron thumb, war preparations are proceeding perfectly as planned. Yet, a heavy shadow looms over his heart. Is that traitorous memory still haunting his soul? Why did leader Han Dong-ryu betray him? Had we fought fairly, I'd have taken your head. Unknown to him, eyes watch from the shadows. Sensing a presence, 𝒔𝒂🔂 decides to leave. How annoying. I need a drink to drown this mood. Suddenly, a rain of arrows descends. 𝒔𝒂🔂's reflexes are lightning fast. A massive boulder behind him is instantly shattered to dust. A sinister figure emerges from the gloom, wearing a twisted smile. The predator has finally arrived. Infuriated, 𝒔𝒂🔂 unleashes his inner aura, charging forward to crush this insolent assassin's life. But a volley of explosive-tipped arrows blocks his path, detonating in a series of violent blasts. The earth trembles. Who sent you? Did you think this pathetic trap could stop me? Suddenly, a strange, sweet aroma fills the air. 𝒔𝒂🔂's keen senses immediately flare in warning. Dream soul poison? They've hidden a hallucinogenic toxin within the thick smoke. How truly cowardly. With a powerful shockwave, he clears the haze. Hide all you want. I'll level this entire forest. 𝒔𝒂🔂 strikes. A devastating martial technique obliterates the trees, leaving only a scorched wasteland behind. Despite the destruction, 𝒔𝒂🔂 remains hidden. He stares in awe at 𝒔𝒂🔂's monstrous, overwhelming strength. Is this the true power of 𝒂🂂's master? He is far more terrifying than the reports suggested. Without proper preparation, victory is a pipe dream. 𝒔𝒂🔂 realizes he's being used as a pawn, but an assassin's path has no U-turns. Once the blade is drawn, only one can survive. In a flash, 𝒔𝒂🔂 detects his hiding spot. Found you, rat. Nowhere left to run now. 𝒔𝒂🔂 trembles. Even poisoned and weakened, the master of the demonic sect is a living nightmare. I'll bet everything on these traps. Their powers collide, causing the very ground to cave in. 𝒔𝒂🔂's vision blurs. The dream soul poison is finally starting to rot his strength from within. 𝒔𝒂🔂 sneers. No one survives this trap, not even the legendary master of the Dark Lady. Victory seemed certain for the assassin, but a sudden, lethal energy erupts from beneath his feet. 𝒔𝒂🔂's eyes widen in horror. He underestimated a monster. 𝒔𝒂🔂's counterstrike is absolute and final. Emerging from the rubble, 𝒔𝒂🔂 glares. You thought I'd fall for such a predictable trick? Panic ensues as 𝒔𝒂🔂's loyal subordinates arrive at the blast site to find their leader. Where is the vice leader? The destruction is so massive that searching seems nearly impossible. Don't stop. We must find him at any cost. Meanwhile, the captured 𝒔𝒂🔂 lets out a chilling laugh. That trap was forged specifically to bury 𝒔𝒂🔂. The subordinate's rage boils over at his words. Shut your mouth before I rip it out. But the assassin only mocks them further. Your master is currently rotting under tons of rock. Manhwa loses control, ready to kill the captive. 𝒔𝒂🔂 remains unfazed, taunting them to take their revenge if they truly have the courage. 𝒔𝒂🔂 steps forward, his killing intent cold. You're only alive because we need information, worm. Don't mistake our patience for mercy. Your head will roll when the time is right. 𝒔𝒂🔂 only sneers. For a captured killer, he certainly has a lot to say to his enemies. You think I'll talk? A heavy kick to the stomach shuts him up instantly. Watch him. Don't let him die yet. Elsewhere, two mysterious figures observe the unfolding chaos. 𝒔𝒂🔂 is still alive. They're more patient than I expected. One shadow whispers to the other. It matters not. My goals are achieved. Now, we must verify if 𝒔𝒂🔂 truly perished. Dead or alive, he is irrelevant. We only need time for Leader Inhyun to seize control. With the main force scattered, 𝒔𝒂🔂 is now a lone wolf. His fall is inevitable. Give up. The day the entire martial world kneels before great Leader Inhyun is finally at hand. At the demonic cult's mountain fortress, Inhyun stood before a grand palace, gloating that his plan was complete. He praised his puppet's performance, uncaring if 𝒂𝒂🔂 truly died, as long as his path was cleared. Driven by insatiable greed, he envisioned the heavenly demon cult finally crushing the world beneath its boots. Before him lay many prisoners in chains, including those who had recently clashed with the legendary 𝒂𝒂🔂. Suddenly, the supreme leader spoke, questioning why everyone stood silent and if Inhyun was second-guessing himself. Inhyun smirked, claiming he felt no hesitation, only a flicker of pity for the supreme leader's fallen son. The old leader glanced at him coldly, remaining silent before finally breaking the heavy tension with a question. He declared the demonic cult follows the strong, and he couldn't acknowledge a leader who retreated from battle. Inhyun burst into laughter, mocking the supreme leader's outdated views on strength and leadership in this new era. He argued that other masters were no different, believing that as long as alliances held, his ascension was secured. The supreme leader remained skeptical, viewing Inyan's sudden rise to power as nothing more than a rushed gamble. Inyan laughed again, realizing the old man still refused to acknowledge him, despite his overwhelming advantage. Just then, reports arrived that Hyang's remaining forces were being annihilated by the Heavenly Bloodsword Squad. Impressed by Inyan's confidence, the supreme leader agreed to watch and see if he could seize the throne. Yet, Inyan's irritation flared. He clearly despised the old man's presence, his face twisting with hidden rage. He immediately ordered Elder Yi-un to move out and eliminate the remaining pests in the Shaanxi region. He whispered to himself that the throne would soon be his, ending the cursed fate between them forever. Meanwhile, Manhwa hurried through the city streets, arriving at a hidden, humble house with an urgent expression. Inside, she found a heavily wounded man and asked if Vice Leader Hyang was truly all right. A captured enemy spat in frustration, demanding to know how Hyang had survived the lethal trap they set. Hyang calmly explained he merely played along with their pathetic trap before making his silent escape. Manhwa asked the elderly master nearby when this counter-strategy had been formed, and he chuckled in response. He recalled how they realized Inyan's spies were constantly monitoring every move the vice leader made. Hyang knew he was being watched, but the enemy was too arrogant to realize their cover was blown. Curious about Inyan's next move, the elder wondered if more assassins were already on their way. Hyang saw an opportunity to use the enemy's own assassins to feed Inyan false information and lead him astray. They planned to move to a secluded location, baiting Inyan's forces into thinking they found a perfect opening. By faking the vice leader's defeat at the hands of assassins, the news would surely lure Inyan into arrogance. The plan was set, and the captured assassin realized too late that he had walked right into a cage. Hyang looked at the captive, noting how easily he could now toy with those who once hunted him. He admitted the assassin was skilled. Had he encountered anyone else, he might have actually escaped this fate. The assassin screamed, begging for a quick death, rather than enduring Hyang's mocking praise and cold gaze. Hyang countered that his praise was sincere, offering the killer a chance to switch sides and serve him. Stunned, the assassin asked if Hyang really intended to turn a would-be murderer into a loyal subordinate. Hyang shrugged, noting that in their world, failing a mission often meant death at the hands of the employer. He warned that if the assassin returned a failure, Inyan would likely dispose of him without a second thought. But under Hyang's wing, the assassin would gain the ultimate chance to strike at his life whenever possible. The logic hit home, making the killer realize that joining Hyang was his only path to survival and glory. He would no longer be a failure, but a relentless hunter who achieved his goals at any cost. Hyang smiled, needing someone with that killer instinct to balance out his more rigid, traditional comrades. His allies watched in disbelief as Hyang successfully recruited a man who had just tried to kill them. After a long silence, the assassin finally made his choice, realizing there was no other way out alive. He bowed, pledging his loyalty and agreeing to follow Hyang's orders, ending his life as a stray shadow. Satisfied, Hyang stood up, signaling the end of this chapter and the beginning of their next dangerous journey. He signaled his elite guard. Time to reveal those hiding in the shadows. They moved instantly. Dozens of silhouettes vanished into the night. They reached the fortress gates like deadly phantoms. "What's the plan?" The leader signaled the charge. The swarm of warriors surged forward at once. The gates shattered into splinters. Inside, everything was trashed. A chaotic scene of a previous struggle. "Master, it's empty." Had they anticipated this? The leader's eyes narrowed in suspicion. They escaped? Something felt wrong. If Mukyang is truly dead, the coalition will splinter into rival warring factions. The Heavenly Demon Cult and the Golden Pavilion would become bitter enemies with no connection left. Internal war was inevitable. But his sudden retreat suggested he knew every move I would make. Where could that rat have crawled to? He scanned the area, frustrated by this unexpected vanishing act. Meanwhile, at the 10,000 Great Mountains, security was tight. A guard sensed a strange vibration. Is the ground shaking? The torches flickered rhythmically. His partner just scoffed at his sudden nerves. "Just the wind playing tricks, you coward." Could an enemy really be infiltrating this sacred mountain? Shut up. The Orthodox cowards claim they'll dig us out. But this mountain has never fallen. Keep your eyes peeled and stay alert. But before he could finish, a sharp whistle cut the air. An arrow pierced his throat instantly. Dead. Before the other could scream, A massive blade struck him down. Cheonyi led his elite troops through the breached line. Pathetic defense for the Great Mountains, isn't it? The guards will pay for this negligence with their lives. Kill every last one of them now. He signaled the archers to fire the signal flare. The night sky ignited, declaring total war. Hidden units emerged from the darkness. We strike the heart of the demonic cult as planned. Deep inside the castle, Jang In-yon demanded an update. Everything is under control, the aide replied. The hostages ensure the Murim alliance stays paralyzed. They'll be forced to move in our favor soon. He laughed arrogantly. Fools! Hesitation leads to death in this world. Suddenly, an explosion rocked the halls. What was that? Who dares disturb me? A blinding light erupted from the outer city walls. The first line of defense had been compromised. A messenger stumbled in, trembling with terrifying news. The chaos even woke Grand Master Han Sok-yi. The air grew heavy with his ancient, suffocating pressure. Such a racket in the dead of night. Explain the situation. Cult leader Jang In-yon. The sacred mountains, untouched for a millennium, are being trampled? Do you realize what this means? In-yon's blood boiled. He hated being lectured by this old fossil. Darn you, you arrogant old man. Hiding his rage, he bowed low. Forgive me, Grand Master. I will personally crush these intruders myself. A chilling voice echoed from above, freezing his heart. A weakling like you, handling this? Ridiculous. Hyang stood perched on the roof. Long time no see, Jang In-yon. Have you been eating well? The invaders scaled the walls. Break through to the main hall. Join forces with the wolf unit. Vice leader Seo Muji deployed his guards. Stop them. Don't let a single rat enter the inner palace. A brutal clash erupted as blades met flesh. The night turned crimson with the blood of warriors. Commanders fought with desperate fury. Defend the main hall. Our honor and lives depend on it. Hyang looked down at In-yon with cold eyes. Shall we let the underlings play before we dance? We're just lightening your burden. You should thank me. He descended like a predator onto its prey. In-yon cursed his luck. Why now? Of all people, why must I face this monster today? Grandmaster Han Sok-yi spoke. It's been a long journey, Hyang. Are you the one behind this raid? I have unfinished business with the vice leader, Hyang replied. Sorry for the messy entrance, Grandmaster. The old man sighed. Internal conflict never truly ends. The subordinate watched, his teeth gritted in hatred. If he keeps flaunting this overwhelming power, we'll never be able to contain him. He's too dangerous. We must force the Grand Master to act, he screamed out. Using outsiders to attack us? This is treason. The Grand Master turned to Mukhyang. Is this true? Have you brought enemies into our home? I only command those cast out by the imperial court, he countered. These men are my shadows. He played strictly by the rules. True power struggles never start from mere petty disagreements. The Elder's interference is pure heresy. I'll be waiting for you, my dear vice leader. By the supreme law, every member shall witness the new master's glorious ascension today. He roared with laughter. The arrogant blue-haired brat was now trembling in absolute terror. Mukhyang, listen. I only followed the great leader In-yon's divine and absolute command. As he babbled, a murderous aura materialized. In-yon struck with cold, lethal precision. A devastating black shadow strike exploded, but the protagonist stood completely unscathed and calm. Only the loudmouth suffered. In-yon's cruel smirk revealed his twisted, monster-like nature. After betraying his own subordinate, he fled. But death wouldn't claim him so easily. Reunited so soon? I won't surrender. This internal war is far from over yet. Trapped between a cliff and the abyss. Is this the best hiding spot you found? He smirked. Did you wander here by mistake? Suddenly, a heavy axe sliced the air. He dove aside as a massive foot crushed the earth. The invincible monsters finally emerged. In-yon gloated. Behold my masterpieces Jiangxi created through decades of forbidden, dark research. These were once legends who ruled the world. My life's greatest, most lethal creation. With a single command, the rotting legends lunged forward to tear him limb from limb. Their massive frames moved with unnatural, blinding speed. The hunt had officially begun. Decades of research. Hang gripped his blade and vanished into a whirlwind of lethal steel. One flash, and the undead fell. Their invincible bodies were sliced like mere scrap paper. Pure terror gripped him. Even his legendary Jiangxi were no match for this monster, Mukhyang. Cornered like a rat, Inyan launched one final, desperate strike with everything he had left. Hang blocked it effortlessly. Tell me, does the weight of total, crushing despair feel heavy? He drove his blade through Inyan's chest. A long fall from the heavens begins now. Dangling over the abyss, his strength faded. The end was finally within his sight. Why you? I climbed over mountains of corpses for the throne of the sect leader. I endured humiliation and used every foul trick just to gain this absolute, divine power. Yet you, with no ambition to rule the world, take everything. Just die already, bastard. Hang's voice was cold as ice. A cockroach like you dreams of leading our sect? You're just a coward hiding behind cheap spells. You look like a pathetic lowly henchman. Fury exploded within his soul. 𝒔𝒔𝒂𝒔𝒔, you absolute bastard. I'll kill you myself. One final, decisive strike sent Inyan spiraling into the dark, bottomless depths of the abyss. My dream. It can't end. But the darkness swallowed his desperate, pathetic screams whole. Hang exhaled. Faces of his fallen brothers flashed before his weary, blood-red eyes. They were all slaughtered by that monster. Finally, this long, bloody road has ended. A shadow appeared. Vice leader, so this is where you've been hiding your silent sorrow. Is the battle over? The reply came swiftly. Our victory is now absolute and total. They were caught off guard. More importantly, we found the traitor in the deepest dungeon. The dungeon reeked of death. Skeletal remains told tales of unspeakable, horrific, demonic torture. Before him sat a broken, white-haired man, a ghost from a forgotten, painful past. Have you come for my life? Han Young-ru, you've become a pathetic, withered husk. My internal power is gone. My body reflects my true age. Why the betrayal, brother? I told you then. I couldn't stomach your overwhelming, suffocating, and arrogant nature. Was that really it? A heavy silence fell. I was simply jealous of your power. The great sect leader, the man who ruled all, was jealous of a monster like me? Before I wore the crown, I was a war god. Envying the stronger is human. A fatal mistake. After betraying you, only a hollow void remains that I can never fill. That is why I surrendered my entire army to face you barehanded. 𝒔𝒂𝒔𝒔, I have one final request for you. Can you do this for me? Use your blade to grant me the eternal rest I crave. If not, 𝒔𝒂𝒔 looked at him coldly. Do you truly wish to die? He replied. I cannot endure this pathetic life. A tiger must live like a king to be happy. Please, let me die with the dignity of a tiger. 𒒔𝒂𝒔 granted his wish. Soon after, the cult gathered in perfect formation within the city walls. Standing tall, he shouted, Warriors of the heavenly demon. Much blood was spilled to reach this glorious moment. But now, under a new heavenly demon, we are one. This ritual marks our rebirth as a single entity. Drink and bind your souls. We shall share one will, one path, and one invincible destiny forever. They drained their cups and knelt in reverence. Hail the supreme demon god. May your dark light blind the heavens. While his glory shone, deep within the blood cult's sanctuary, elders formed a forbidden, swirling magical array. At the center sat a caged tiger. Vice leader Sama-Yo watched, a twisted smirk crossing his face. Awake already? You heal fast, Gang In-young. It seemed the traitor had been snatched from death's cold grip. We found you drifting downstream. Without our intervention, your soul would have crossed the underworld by now. In-young stood up, wary. The blood cult and demon cult are enemies. Why save a wretch like me? Because your hatred for 𒒔𝒂𝒔 is a weapon. A man who loathes him as you do is valuable. Pierced by the truth, In-young scoffed. And what can you do? You lack the power to kill him. We won't kill him. We'll erase him from existence. Activate the dark spirit severance ritual immediately. Ritual candles flared as a violent vortex engulfed the cage. The hooded sorcerers began their forbidden, rhythmic chanting. The occult language grew louder, making the light within the array blindingly bright. In-young watched, paralyzed by fear. The tiger roared in pure agony as the spell tore through space. Then a flash of light consumed everything. Silence followed. The cage was empty. In-young gasped in shock. How? How did he just vanish like that? Impressive, isn't it? Join us, In-young, and we shall make 𒒔𝒂𝒔 disappear from this world forever. Meanwhile, at the great mountain, Manhwa rushed toward the leader's chambers. The meeting had already begun. Lord Leader? Why haven't you appeared yet? Getting no response, she threw the heavy doors open in a panic. The room was chillingly empty. Manhwa's face turned deathly pale. The leader. Mukhyang has vanished. While the cult fell into chaos, the capital hummed with life. In a quiet tavern, dark whispers spread. Have you heard the rumors about Iron Ox Mountain? Isn't that where the great hero 𝒂𝒔𝒂𝒔𝒊𝒏 is buried? Indeed. They say every night, bone-chilling screams echo through the peaks, and the mist turns blood red. Phantom soldiers in strange armor march through the trees. They don't look like any martial artists I know. Whatever treasure or secret arts lie there, commoners like us should stay far away from that cursed place. Hyang sat silently in the corner, absorbing every detail. The seeds of a new mystery had been planted. Night fell upon Iron Ox Mountain. The forest felt suffocating, draped in a thick, crimson mist like drying blood. Hyang stepped into the shadows. The killing intent here is suffocating. This mountain is a literal death trap. I knew finding the truth wouldn't be simple, but this energy, it's absolutely unnatural and twisted. From the brush, a rabbit with glowing red eyes watched him. It was a puppet of a dark master. Elsewhere, a sorcerer channeled his spirit through the beast. Mukhyang has walked into our web at last. He's heading straight for the trap. In-young sneered. His arrogance will finally be his undoing today. He never suspects a thing. Is the array fully charged? We cannot afford a single mistake this time. Samayo nodded coldly. Everything is set. Let's give our guest a welcome. He will never survive. Suddenly, glowing orbs swarmed the sky. Black staffs slammed into the earth, pinning Hyang to the spot. Shadowy figures emerged, activating the forbidden Great Blood Web formation. The cage was closed. Hyang stood motionless, unfazed by the sorcery. He watched with cold eyes as the ground began to heave. Undead ghouls and lethal jiangshi burst from the soil. They thought they had trapped a mere man. Amateurs, he whispered. With a single burst of demonic power, he annihilated the entire horde. Absolute domination, strengthening zombies with killing intent? Foolish. I'm a demon cultivator, you're just fueling my path. I'll force this breakthrough. He lunged forward, unleashing a singular, devastating strike toward the staff. Easier than expected. Wait. My blade rebounded. Suddenly, a group of enemies warped in behind him. Seeing you struggle is a rare treat, Ma Yo sneered. I'll enjoy watching your face fall into despair. Hang gasped in shock. Jiangyan and Jian, you're still alive? They grinned, savoring their dark victory. Your end is here. Ink Spirit Zombie Split Art. 4 undead horrors lunged from every direction. This formation is lethal, Hang realized. I can't let this drag on, I must shatter it now. Inyan blocked his path, hand outstretched. You think I'd let you escape? Not a chance, boy. A massive pressure locked, Hang in place, freezing him. Just accept your pathetic fate and die. But they forgot his protagonist light. Suddenly, Hang's body erupted in a blinding, celestial glow. That massive surge of spiritual energy silenced the villains. Their arrogant smirks turned into pure terror. Hang blurred past the zombies, carving through them instantly. He charged straight for Mayo's throat. Mayo chanted frantically to survive, but the cold steel was already inches from his neck. Suddenly, Hang's physical form vanished into thin air. The villains gasped, searching the empty, silent battlefield. He's gone. Not a single trace left. They finally breathed a heavy sigh of relief. Elsewhere, a naked Hang plummeted from the heavens. What happened? Why am I falling from the sky? He hit the ground like a meteor. As dust cleared, his perfectly sculpted, powerful physique emerged. Was that an illusion? Suddenly, a massive shadow loomed. A colossal dragon was soaring through the clouds. A legendary dragon? Hang stared in total disbelief. Just where on earth have I been sent? That's all for today. Thanks for watching. See you in the next epic chapter. Tarmbeert.